is a presentation of Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Kansas City.
Royals baseball from Kauffman Stadium. The first homestand comes to a close this afternoon, and the Royals have a chance for a 3-game sweep over the Minnesota Twins. And Royals baseball is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the ballpark with Rex Hudler. I'm Ryan Lefevre. Joe Goldberg will join us later in the game. We began last night's broadcast talking about some of the so-called holes that the Royals have, or at least some of the holes that were perceived by others and don't think the Royals are going to have a good year this year. We started with starting pitching. Ian Kennedy was great last night. Let's move on now and talk about second base and right field and how they've done so far.
Why not? You know, Omar Infante, there were a lot of question marks around him. He was injured for the past 2 seasons, but really this guy played through those injuries. But it's amazing what a guy can do when he's healthy. He looks great. His legs feel good. His arm, he's starting to get that bat early production. There's no question there now.
Our most trusted players, brought to you by Honda. Now let's talk about right field.
That's right. Raymond Fuentes, very nice addition. He's a Royal-style player with that speed. He's chipped in. But Paulo Orlando, he stepped in and said, hey, don't forget about me. 3 knocks last night. This guy right here has speed, and he's a contact hitter. Perfect what the Royals need in their offense. So far, so good in those positions.
And then Ian Kennedy in his Royals debut continued the successful string of starts.
Yes, Young and Ventura, your number 3 guy? Whoa, man, I'll tell you what, Kennedy looked fantastic. What you can do with 4 pitches when you're a veteran guy with great concentration, and when the bell rings, his debut, couldn't have went any better.
And it was Edinson Volquez who set the tone on opening night on Sunday with his start against the Mets. And we'll talk more about him as Volquez gets ready for his second start of the year this afternoon. Kansas City received some much needed rain this morning, but now things are clearing up. The forecast is good as the Royals go for a sweep over the Minnesota Twins. And Hud, the forecast is always very good when the Royals send Edinson Volquez to the mound.
Oh, especially for the sweep. The Royals got what they wanted by taking the series 2 out of 3 for sure, but time to step on their neck. And why not? Edinson Volquez last Sunday, second career opening day start. He was magnificent. 6 scoreless, only 2 lousy singles. He dealt 5 punch-outs, man. He was hitting his spots with all of his pitches. 3 walks, but you know what? Hey, when you're effectively wild like that with that kind of fuzz, he's got that gas. He's good.
And on the topic of left-hand pitchers who are good hitters, we'll cover Major League news and notes when we come back. Here at Kauffman Stadium for the Royals and the Minnesota Twins. Let's take a look at what's going on around the major leagues and begin with a Mazda game break. How about this, Hud?
Seen it before, not surprised one bit. That guy's a beast.
That is Madison Bumgarner's second career home run against Clayton Kershaw. He bats right-handed, and that was his 12th career home run. Bumgarner, the only player with 2 or more home runs against Kershaw. Not just pitcher, player with 2 or more home runs against Kershaw since the beginning of last year. The Baltimore Orioles are the only undefeated team in the major leagues. And the San Diego Padres, who were shut out in their first 3 games at home by the Dodgers. All they had to do was go to Denver, and now they scored 29 runs in their last 2 games. And that's our Panera Bread look around the league. Speaking of offense, the Royals did not hit a home run in their first 3 games, and then they hit 3 last night against the Twins. Can they keep it going? We'll talk about that when we come back. With Minnesota 4-3 in game one, 7-0 last night. We are getting ready for the national anthem at Kauffman Stadium. The lineups and the first pitch are coming up next. Kauffman Stadium. The lineups and the first pitch are coming up next. Royals baseball is brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. Every ticket you play gives back to schools across Missouri, so play it forward with the Missouri Lottery. By Menards, save big money at Menards on all your home improvement needs. And by your Midwest Ford dealers. Visit your MidwestFordDealers.com. Rain is out of the forecast. There's a slight chance around 4 o'clock. Of course, that could change here this time of the year, but everything looks good right now after some rain earlier today. Things are not looking so well for the Minnesota Twins. They are 0-5 for the first time in franchise history. Now, we pointed out last night, and they can use this for inspiration. They started last season 1-6, and then they went 20-7, and were in contention the rest of the regular season.
Yeah, and you know, that's the positive you draw from. Paul Molitor, longtime baseball player, Hall of Famer. He understands baseball, and in order to stay successful, you've got to stay positive, and that's what he's telling his troops right now.
And the Twins will face Edinson Volquez with 80 career wins. Last year, he got 13 of those, one of the best seasons of his big league career. He led the Royals in wins, starts, innings pitched, strikeouts, and quality starts. And on the topic of quality starts, Edinson Volquez has made 5 starts in his career against the Twins, and all 5 have been quality. We'll keep talking pitching. Here are Kubota power stats for today. And as we talked about at the top of the broadcast, both today and yesterday, many were concerned with the Royals starting rotation. It's only 4 games, but what a great start.
Only 4 runs given up in 22 2/3 innings. Yeah, that's the kind of start makes that man Dave Island smile.
Brian Dozier, Eddie Rosario, and Joe Mauer against Volquez in the top of the first. And Dozier goes after the first pitch and pulls it foul past third base coach Gene Glynn. Dozier entered this series 0 for 11, going hitless in Minnesota's opening series against the Orioles, and now he's gone 3 for 6 against the Royals. Popped up. Kane comes way in from center field. I'm not sure Colon saw it right away. So the game begins with a fly ball to center field and 2 huge smiles. Here are the Royals defensively. Christian Colon is the only change from last night. Paulo Orlando is back in right field after getting 3 hits last night. Omar Infante gets his first day off of the season.
Yeah, I think it's good. Ned Yost keeping Colon fresh, get him out there, keep him in the rhythm of the game, and also give Infante some time and keep him hot. I'm sure we'll see him back in there tomorrow in Houston. Yeah, but you know, you mentioned it, 5 starts the Minnesota Twins. They know all about Edinson Volquez and what he throws. That 2-seam, 4-seam combination fastballs really can be lethal. He'll go anywhere from 90 to 95 with those 2 type pitches. His changeup is exceptional. It's a beauty, and he's got a nice little overhand curve.
And quickly ahead of Eddie Rosario, 0-2. I think you gave him the nickname last year, Hud, Steady Eddie, because he was the Royals' most consistent starter from game 1 through 162.
He was, but I wish I gave him that. That was Monty. Monty gave him that nickname, and you know what? It's just been watching him the first 2 or 3 starts of the season. Everything's the same. He's ooh, man.
Volquez will love that strike zone. John Hirschbeck is the home plate umpire. Now, Perez caught it low, but where did it cross the plate? Yeah, the grid, I thought so. You know, sometimes the momentum of a breaking ball will take a glove down, so it wasn't as low as it looked.
And that's some heavy bite right there. You know, and then Salvi caught it, and then he went ahead and took his glove to the ground. So, you know, if you don't like it, you better hack or they'll send you back. You got anything close to 2, you got to be swinging.
Joe Mauer is the designated hitter. It is not a bright day because of the overcast, but we were talking about Joe Mauer and his struggles last year, and he admitted he was having some vision difficulties after all the concussions, and especially during the day. So he spent a lot of spring training experimenting hitting with sunglasses on. 1 ball, 1 strike.
Sure is a nice aid to help those hitters. Just another good thing for him, and it takes the glare off. It really does work if you get used to looking across the bridge of your nose and it doesn't distract you. A lot of hitters aren't comfortable with them.
2 balls, 1 strike.
Home plate umpire John Hirschbeck, pretty liberal strike zone. You got to be hacking, especially on a getaway day. You better be hacking. So they got planes to catch as well as the players do, and unfortunately for them, they have to go through the airports and get there an hour early just like everybody else. They don't have that charter sitting there waiting for them.
Base hit into center field for Joe Mauer. And now Kane bobbles but recovers quickly. Mauer thought about going to second base, but he will hold.
4-seamer split the plate in 2, and Mauer, he knows exactly what to do. Stay short to the ball, very small leg lift. A nice swing. Makes him 6 for 17 in his career against Volquez.
So a man on for big Miguel Sano, who started Friday night and then came off the bench last night. He is 0 for 5 in the series.
Sano has a big enough sample size from being up here last year to where he showed his strengths, no question about it. But now pitchers, they understand those, and they're pitching to his weakness now. That's by keeping the ball in on him, jamming him, and soft stuff away. Trying to stay out of the middle. He's a strong guy. He can do a lot with the ball when he gets the barrel on it.
An old saying that my dad taught me years ago, and I was excited about a young player that was on his team, and he looked at me and said, "We'll see, because the game catches up with you in a hurry." Meaning, if there is a weakness at this level, they will find that and they will exploit it. They'll find it quickly.
He's right. He knows. He played and managed, and let me tell you, this is a very humbling game. Most sports are, but when you play this day to day, it can really play mind games with you.
He went high fastball at 95. Volquez strikes out 2 in the top of the first inning.
Whew, man, he's going to have their work cut out for him again.
He strikes out 2. Now the offense takes over. Paulo Orlando made his first start last night. He had 3 hits. He stays in there, and Christian Colon will make his season debut. The first 7 in the lineup stayed the same, and the Royals will be facing 33-year-old right-hander Ricky Nolasco. 2 years ago, the Twins spent a lot of money on Phil Hughes and Ricky Nolasco. Phil Hughes has worked very well for them. Nolasco has really struggled, and he was their opening day starter 2 years ago. This year, he made the rotation as their 5th starter.
Well, it's been unfortunate for him. He's a 10-year veteran. He's been around, but he's really been bitten by the injury bug. Ankle surgery, some arm problems. Just 11-14 with a 5.56 ERA in his career here in the last 2 years.
Eduardo Nunez is at third base today, and he throws out Alcides Escobar. And here are the Twins defensively. They have not played well defensively in this series. Rosario in left, Buxton in center, Sano is in right, Nunez and Escobar on the left side of the infield, Dozier and Park on the right side. John Ryan Murphy is behind the plate. And there's Byung-Ho Park, who will be the Twins' primary DH, but on the days that Joe Mauer is the designated hitter, Park will play at first. Here's Mike Moustakas with 1 out. And he takes a fastball strike at 91.
Velasco, he'll work that fastball, a little two-seamer as well as a four-seamer, anywhere from 88 to 93. Slider, he's got a curve and also a split finger changeup combination. Veteran guys got to try to stay on the corners a lot like most pitchers. Stay out of the middle unless you have that powerful fastball. You can blow it away. He used to throw harder, but he didn't have that now.
Fastball cutting in on Moustakas. He's not sure, but you pointed out John Hirschbeck, and he was one of the first umpires I remembered at the beginning of my career that had a pitcher-friendly strike zone.
Yeah, and scouting umpires is almost as important as scouting your opponents. It's nice to know what umpires have. Even though the Quest Tech system, you don't hear much about that anymore. All the umpires are graded, and they get a disc after every game, and it tells them which ones were good, which ones weren't so good. So Major League Baseball's tried to conform them, but still they have their own personalities and their own strike zones. Ooh, that's his out pitch, that big curve. And believe me, Velasco, he's looking for a good start here. Only throwing just 17 in the third innings in spring training. You would think that's not quite enough to get going, but when you're a veteran guy, you know what happens when the bell rings. It's time to produce.
Saw that from Ian Kennedy last night. Lorenzo Cain, like Mike Moustakas, hit his first home run of the season last night. Hits it on the ground to short. And Escobar takes care of Lorenzo Cain. So Velasco needs just 8 pitches to get through the Royals in the bottom of the first. Royals defense right where they want to be early in this regular season, making spectacular plays, making the routine plays. And the Royals remain the only team that has not committed an error. Academy Sports and Outdoors leaderboard. Royals are errorless. Washington, San Francisco, Detroit, and Baltimore have all committed only 1 error.
It looks good for the fans. They love watching the plays, but you ask them starting pitchers of the Royals and the bullpen guys, and they'll tell you, oh man, that's like having an extra weapon in your pocket. When you make a mistake and it gets hit, you're thinking, oh no, and then they say, oh yes.
Something we can ask Ian Kennedy about. He's going to be joining us in the 3rd inning today from the Royals dugout, and it was something that he talked about after his start last night. When in doubt, throw a strike, because chances are the Royals will make the play on defense.
That's such a big cushion for those guys to be able to have that.
in their back pocket, that defense. That's nice. So we're going to get a live interview? Nice.
Chris Young is preparing him. Now, when HUD asks you about how you think your season's going to go, you tell him that you don't have your crystal ball.
Hey, that's not my specialty. Asking questions.
Now,
I can answer them, but I don't ask them very well. But we'll see how today goes.
Ian was chiming in and said, well, and Chris is saying, just take it from me. Listen, I've been there. I've done that. Yeah. Chris Young helps prepare the other pitchers for everything.
Yep. And you know, Kennedy grew up in Huntington Beach, California. He was a young guy, and I was broadcasting out there. So I think he was telling Chris Young, yeah, I know all about him. He's out there a little.
Young Ho Park hit his first major league home run on Friday night. He hit 53 home runs last year in the Korean Baseball Organization. That was a league record. And 105 home runs the last 2 years combined. And on another night, he may have hit 2 home runs on Friday. He had one ball hit to the track in center field that got knocked down by a strong wind.
Well, they're counting on this guy heavily to carry that offense at times. And here it was, a slider by Soria that just kind of left it up over the zone, and he hit that a long way. 6'1", 220. He's got good size. And when you're playing in a Korean league, you know, it's not major league pitching, but it's a lot of off speed, and you're good hitting those secondary pitches. He'll have to learn how to catch up to those heaters here.
That one at 95 and boring in on him.
Yeah, and lots of times, you know, you learn how to cheat. That means get going a little bit sooner before he lets go of that ball if you think a fastball is coming. And through his first few at-bats this year, Bert Blyleven was telling me he thinks he kind of is a guess hitter. He guesses a lot up there. And you know, a lot of hitters do at times.
Changeup. Volquez, of his 4 outs so far today, 3 have been strikeouts.
Well, when you're an ace like Volquez is, you have more than just one pitch. His fastball is really tough to hit, but the changeup and curveball are equally as well. But this is amazing right here. 500-plus changeup, hadn't allowed a homer off that pitch, and that's because he doesn't make mistakes with it. He really has good mechanics with his front shoulder. He keeps it straight on, and he doesn't open up that shoulder a little bit. And when you do open up, it leaves the ball up in the zone for hitters to hit him out. But not Eddie. He really does focus on that pitch.
Alex Gordon, long run. Alcides Escobar near, but Alex makes the play. One step in foul territory to take care of Eduardo Escobar. 2 down. Fans, don't miss out on some throwback fun. Zubaz Palooza Day here on Friday, April 22nd. This theme ticket will feature a one-of-a-kind World Series champion themed Royals Zubaz pants and a game ticket for that night. Packages start at just $26. Purchase today while supplies last. I've always wanted to say that at Royals.com/theme tickets. Purchase today while supplies last.
And you know, those things, they're great. I got me a pair a couple years ago when they did that. You could wear those for PJs. That's what I use them for.
That's right on the edge of too much information.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Oh, and 2 on Eduardo Nunez. I think Joel just said that we could hang a week's worth of your PJs on the line drive hit by Moustakas last night.
Oh, no question. Well, this is one Minnesota Twins hitter that's done pretty well. He's hit in all 5 games so far with 3 multi-hit games.
Base hit center field for Nunez with 2 down.
Stay inside the ball and direct it right back up that middle. Good swing. A lot of room there.
This is John Ryan Murphy. The Twins picked him up in a trade during the offseason. They sent Aaron Hicks to New York. Murphy was stuck behind Brian McCann and could challenge Kurt Suzuki for playing time. Fastball for a strike.
Ryan Murphy, he's telling himself, man, that's 94 down below the knees. That's a tough pitch to hit. You can hit it, but hard to guide it into that beautiful green grass out there somewhere, because that's just a great location. Down is hard to hit.
Speaking of Chris Young, as he was chatting with Ian Kennedy in the Royals dugout, John Ryan Murphy also went to Princeton several years after Chris Young left. That was a fake throw down to first. Got Nunez diving back to the bag.
You play against Salvador Perez and you get on base, you're well schooled knowing that he'll throw to any bases after the pitch. His quick hands, his release, strong arm makes him dangerous to try to get a little extra lead on.
Changeup. You know, getting back to that stat on Volquez's changeup, we were talking about Tommy Malone last night. Pitchers who throw a lot of changeups, that's an effective pitch when it's working. When it's not working, changeups turn into home runs, and that is just remarkable. More than 500 changeups Volquez threw last year. Not one of them was a home run. I mean, changeup pitchers usually give up a lot of home runs.
Sure do.
Nunez runs, and it's bounced to the middle. Escobar will throw out Murphy. Volquez has 2 scoreless innings. In the bottom of the second, it'll be Eric Hosmer, followed by Kendrys Morales and Alex Gordon.
Paul Molitor, one of the best baseball players in the world, was a Golden Gopher. All-time hits leaders there. Check it out. University of Minnesota. Rob Quinlan. How about him up at the top there? Look at my partner, Ryan Lefevre. 271 knocks in his outstanding career. Molly only had 159. That's right. And my partner also led and ahead of Molitor in triples. He beat him in triples too. I mean, Ryan, I just, it's hard for me to get away from that because that's impressive. And I know you're going to say, well, I played one more year than he did. I don't care. Numbers are numbers. Molly, I'm sure, will be happy to concede the college greatness that you had over him.
He does. Every time I see him, I always tell him, you know, gosh, man, one of the greatest players in Gopher baseball history. And Molly, you weren't bad either.
That's perfect.
That was actually painful looking at that list because when I graduated, I was first.
Oh.
5 guys passed me.
Yeah.
Just another guy now. Hosmer the other way. Didn't quite get it, and Rosario comes over from left field. What do they call him in baseball? A jag, right? Just a guy.
Right.
It's just an average guy. Yeah, I mean.
Well, if you look at that list, I don't know about others. Rob Quinlan, he was an Angel for a while. He had a nice short career, but he got to the big leagues, and I'm not familiar with some of those other guys. Mike Mee.
Mike Mee's father, Tom Mee, also played at the University of Minnesota, and Tom is the television director for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Well, that name looked a little familiar.
Yeah. Now, who put you up to that?
Well, I've been waiting to hold it. This is the third final game, and you know, when you got that kind of pedigree over a Hall of Famer, we got to get that out there.
Other than my wife and maybe my kids, nobody else cares about that watching today.
Oh no, you're wrong.
But
there.
thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's well deserved. That's a lot of work.
Twins overshift to the right against Kendrys Morales. He also hit his first home run in last night's game on a pitch like that. Maybe up a little more, but a breaking ball down and in, and he just golfed it out into right center field. Slow breaking ball, and Morales finds a hole just to the left of second base, and the Royals have their first base runner. Back in 1996, as a member of the Minnesota Twins against Jose Rosado, Paul Molitor did this, and it was a history-making 3,000 hit. Paul Molitor became the first player in Major League history to have a triple for his 3,000 hit.
Wow, impressive.
He had a year with the Twins. I was working for them that year, and it might have been that season. First the pitch to Alex Gordon, and maybe Dave Holtzman can look it up, but he had 100 RBIs. You know, you're talking about the end of his career. He had 100 or more RBIs with fewer than 10 home runs. Talk about clutch hits all season long. He wasn't getting them in bunches with home runs.
No, and he put the ball in play. What amazed me about him, of many things, is the fact he didn't stride. His stride foot, he would just set up his put up his heel and set it down. He never even would stride forward. So he all hands hitter and contact guy. He was special.
Holtz, looked it up. It was that 96 season for Molitor. 113 RBIs, 9 home runs on a team that wasn't very good.
Yep, I remember when he was with the Milwaukee Brewers, him and Robin Yount and that Brew Crew back in the mid 80s. They had a great baseball team. I had a lot of respect for him as a young player coming up.
That'll skip away from Murphy and allow Kendrys Morales to move into scoring position for Alex Gordon.
Talked about the occasional split finger changeup combination he'll use, and that's more of a full split right there, and it just bounced way in front of the plate. The release point's really tough to pick up on that pitch for a pitcher. That's a field pitch, but Nolasco, the veteran that he is, he knows how to put it where he wants it, but didn't happen that time.
Off speed breaking ball. Alex swings over the top. Nolasco strikes out his second. There are 2 down. Remember, this week only, T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network. Breaking ball at 73 and ball 1 to Salvi.
Ooh, man, when it's up there around belt high like that, Salvi's telling himself, oh man, I'm gonna take a shot. I could take that ball for a drink in the fountain. That's not where Nolasco wanted that one.
One ball and 1 strike.
A better spot there. Back-to-back curves. That's a nice range of velocity there from 92 to 73 for keep those guys off balance.
A lot of breaking stuff. And Nolasco really needs to improve the effectiveness of his fastball. His opponent's batting average last year on his fastball was .434.
Yeah, this, you know, when you don't throw that hard, you got to make sure you locate it. He was having difficulties with all of his injuries.
Popped up, and Dozier will bring it down. So the Royals had Morales at second base with 1 out, and Nolasco gets out of it. And at the end of 2, no score.
Stadium, Joel Goldberg down by the Royals dugout, and in that dugout is a manager, Ned Yost, who is very comfortable with his rotation. May not get all the fanfare of some other big name rotations, but what Ned knows with guys like Volquez and Ian Kennedy is there is consistency and reliability.
I mean, it's big. You got guys that you can trust, and when they step on the mound, you know that they're going to keep you in the game, give you a chance to win it, and that's all you can ask for.
And so Ned feeling very comfortable, certainly did last night with Ian Kennedy, who is pretty much a 200-inning guy every single year, and Edinson Volquez with his first 200-inning season last year. Makes the manager's job, guys, very easy when he knows he's got those 5 guys.
Without a doubt, he sleeps a lot easier, because there's some managers out there that have a little indigestion at times when they go to sleep at night, knowing who's going to get the ball, let alone the position players behind them. As a position player, you come to the ballpark with one of your stud pitchers going, you're like, all right, I can't wait to get to the ballpark. We're going to win tonight. And that's what you want, that mental positive attitude. And if you got a guy who's not so good, you say, well, that's okay, tonight's the night he turns it around. So you always have to stay on the positive side, good or bad guys that pitch. You know, it's not an easy game.
One and two on Byron Buxton. Chris Young will pitch tomorrow in Houston, and then Chris Medlin will start on Tuesday. And then we will have seen all 5 of the Royals starters. Medlin was skipped first time through. Still 1 and 2 on Buxton, and that's not a slight. It's very common early in the season with a lot of off days, and especially the Royals. Royals played Sunday, they had Monday off, they played Tuesday, they had Wednesday and Thursday off. And now we're in game 3 of 10 games in 10 days. Breaking ball strikes out Buxton, and Volquez has struck out 4 in 2 1/3 innings. Minnesota suffered its first injury last night, and on this double off the bat of Salvador Perez, Danny Santana had to come out of the game and placed on the disabled list today with a right hamstring strain. That's our University of Kansas hospital injury report. So they're 0-5, and now they've lost one of their more dynamic players to a hamstring injury.
It's a very, very tough injury to have this early in the season for him. They're counting on him big time. And you know, it wasn't when he took off, it's like I thought it was when he was decelerating. After he was able to, when he missed the ball, slowing down is when your hammies tighten up on you sometimes. It just grabbed him.
Well, I've said it before, you know, the Twins are in Florida, the Royals are in Arizona for spring training. They're working out in short sleeves, they're breaking a sweat, they're wearing sunglasses, it's warm, their body's nice and loose, and then they jump on an airplane and they go somewhere where it's 40 or 50 degrees, and it's a completely different feel for the body.
And you know, having had an injury like that before, I can tell you that when he felt it, he was hoping it was maybe a cramp, and then once the reality set in, he threw the ball back in, he kind of bent over and he started walking away. He went, oh, last thing I needed. You know, that's when it sets in. You're like, oh no.
Changeup makes it 3-2 on Dozier. He flied out to center field first time. Still 3-2. Alex comes in left field, and Dozier flies out for a second time. 2 down in the 3rd inning. Well, fans, the Royals want you to follow them on the road to Philadelphia, Boston, or maybe New York. Royals destination fan packages are available now and include great game tickets, hotel accommodations, VIP ballpark tours, and a meet and greet reception with a Royals player. Go to Royals.com/destinations or 877-698-8695. And Royals fans took advantage of that last year. Royals fans were all over the league last spring and summer. Even in places like Cleveland in April when it was cold, Seattle, Milwaukee.
How about making your reservations for Miami this year? That's a good spot. Royals haven't been there in a while.
2008 was the last time we were there at old Joe Robbie Dolphins Stadium. I think it had about 4 different names.
Yep.
This is Eddie Rosario. He struck out on a pitch that he thought was in the dirt or close to the dirt. Fox tracks showed that it was much closer to the strike zone, so he had a few words with the 34-year veteran home plate umpire John Hirschbeck. And now Volquez is ahead 1 ball and 2 strikes. Just nicked it foul, and that nicked John Hirschbeck.
Yep, can't tell you how many times that's happened to him in all them years. You're a home plate umpire. That once every 4 days you get that opportunity, you're going to get nicked.
Salvador Perez with a nice gesture. He's going out to talk to Volquez very quickly. Mike Moustakas and Edinson Volquez are having a top secret conversation.
You know, they never used to do that. You know, 20 years ago, cameras weren't as good as what they have nowadays. The cameras are all over the mouth, so the hitters they read their lips, so they cover their mouths now. In meetings at the mound, and whenever they have to talk to the catcher or the manager comes out, even the coaches sometimes will cover their mouths so no one can read them.
Popped up to center. So Edinson Volquez has begun his 2016 season with 9 scoreless innings. We'll visit with Ian Kennedy when we come back. No score. Third inning last night. Ian Kennedy was the winning pitcher, going 6 2/3 scoreless in his Royals debut, striking out 7. And that's about as good a debut as we've seen in a long time. And as we promised earlier in the game, Ian's going to join us down inside the Royals dugout. There he is. Congratulations. I'm sure it's a big load off of your shoulders to get that first one out of the way.
Yeah, the first one was a little added pressure to it, but new team, defending champs, and this offseason signing here is it was something a little added to it.
I think the fans appreciated your comments after the game last night. They were very honest. They were very human. I think, someone trying to be macho would say, it's my job. I'm here to win. It wasn't that big of a deal. But to hear you say what you said after the game, all the different components, defending champions, new team, new home, by the way, too. How's the move going?
New home, boxes everywhere. Kids thinking, where are we going next week in their suitcases? And no, it's been going good. We've been moving in slowly, and a lot of things added to it. So I was really happy to get it started that way, and not trying to add too much pressure. But the first outing of the season is always going to be the same way, where you're back on the field again, and it feels like you're re-debuting.
Hey, I don't want to make too much of this because you're a veteran pitcher. You've been around a long time. You know how to pitch. But it's a new league for you. You know who you are. But Salvador Perez knows the league. So how did you guys manage that in a non-spring training game for the first time?
Yeah, it's always a little different because spring training, you're trying to work on things. You're trying to work on your fastball command, or you're trying to work on a breaking ball that day, or your secondary stuff that you didn't work on last week. But yesterday was just trying to go with whatever was going well, and which I wanted to stay with my fastball. And there's some games where breaking ball is better than the other breaking ball, and I think I'm maybe a little harder to work with because I adjust on the fly quite a bit, and that's why it's like sitting next to the catcher, making sure he's on the same page and what we're going to do the next time around. We go in through the lineup, the third time through the lineup, and you're constantly making adjustments. So I want to make sure we're both talking at the same page.
Ian, can you share with our fans about spring training and going out and getting your work in, and sometimes you don't really care too much about the results, and then you come out yesterday, and I was totally blown away by the stuff that I saw, and really when that bell rings, and having played before, I faced guys in spring and I could hit them, but when the bell rung, I couldn't hit them a lick. So I mean, how's that mindset go for you?
Yeah, sometimes you face a guy in spring training, especially as a hitter, and you do well against them, and you don't really want to do what you do during the season, and it ends up getting some hits, and you don't want them to get confident, getting comfortable hitting off you. So, but yeah, as soon as the game really starts, you notice hitters start to be different than spring training. Pitchers are different. There's some guys that are dominant, like Kershaw. He's always going to be good in spring, and he's good in the season. Like guys like myself, I was talking to CY today about it, spring training, and then it was nice to get out there in a real game setting. You have your adrenaline flowing. You want to do well in spring training, just more of, you want to build your pitch count. We're all competitive. We want to do well, but sometimes it's just not there yet. It takes a little longer, and then by the time you get hopefully by the time you pitch in your first real season start, it's all there. And with adrenaline, that adds up. Everything starts clicking a little bit better. You're not waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning during spring training like you are and throwing a 1 o'clock game. It's a lot different, and it's all about getting your work in spring training. And results aren't. I've been blessed to have that set in rotation where I can just go out there and do that. I remember the days where I had to compete and I had to do well in order to make the rotation. So I take full advantage of those opportunities where I can just work on my things during spring training, and then when you go out here, when it's time to pitch, you're ready to go.
Sure looks sharp. Hey, you grew up in Huntington Beach, California. What was it like in your youth? Were you a pitcher, position player? How much baseball did you play when you were young?
I played a lot. I watched you when you played for the Angels. Watched a lot of Angel games, Dodger games. I played pretty much every position, but I kind of got moved to the outfield. I liked right field a lot because I got to throw a lot of guys out. But then I quickly realized that I'm a much better pitcher than I was a hitter. And just going there. I went to La Quinta High School and just transferred there as a kid. And I really liked my high school coach, so I wanted to stay there. And it was kind of athletic, but not too athletic.
You mentioned Chris Young, and we saw you and CY chatting about an inning ago. We thought you were talking that Chris was preparing you for this interview with HUD.
No, we were talking about random things about pitching. Really, CY's a really intelligent guy. Just we both four-seam guys, so I kept going to him before the game. because I haven't faced these guys too much, but you know, you watch so much video, but there's plenty of guys that are different than you, and I feel like CY's got a good fastball, good four-seam fastball, and I think pretty similar, even though he's a foot taller than I am.
I was thinking it's been kind of a reunion in this series with you and Dave Island is here, Chin-Ming Wong is here, and I remember when didn't seem that long ago, but it was that Phil Hughes, who's pitching for the Twins, that the Yankees were talking about waiting for Ian Kennedy and Phil Hughes.
Yeah, I saw Phil the first day. It's been a while since I've seen him. We haven't played Twins when I was in the National League very much. So, and he's been with the Yankees before that. So it was nice to catch up with him, and you know, Jobber Chamberlain's going to be in our division too. So it'll be nice to catch up some of the guys that you come up with. And as you play longer, hopefully those guys are still around. We had a lot of good young pitchers in that organization, and Mark Melanson was another one that we both got drafted with, and David Robertson too.
Some good arms.
Yeah.
Two successful major league starters and two outstanding relievers in Melanson and Robertson. Go ahead, Hud.
Yeah, there's a lot said about the team chemistry in that clubhouse that you're in now. Have you noticed a big difference, the joy, the happiness, the love of the game these guys have, and is that contagious?
Oh yeah, it's awesome to watch. I saw it in spring training, but then when season comes around, you start to get to know guys a little bit better. How good they are, how talented they are, but how good of guys they are too.
Ian, you're a lot of fun to talk to. We appreciate your time in both spring training and this afternoon. Great job. We'll see you in Houston.
Yeah, thanks guys.
No score as we have played 3 at Kauffman Stadium. Final game of 3 with the Royals and the Twins. Great effort on the part of the fans so far with the signs. Not just how they're worded, but the overall production. Nice work. Edinson Volquez has pitched 3 scoreless innings, 9 scoreless innings if you combine today with his first start. 4 strikeouts. He's given up 2 singles, one of those to Joe Mauer, who will lead off in the 4th inning. Mauer and Eduardo Nunez have both singled to center field, and Ricky Nolasco on the Twins side has only given up 1 hit in his 3 innings. Getting a little brighter as the sun is starting to burn away at the overcast. Very comfortable day at Kauffman Stadium. We had 2 nice days during the Mets series. Friday night and Saturday night here we're on the cool side and very windy, and there's hardly any wind today, but there is humidity, so that will affect the flight of the ball. 68 degrees, And with the wind out of the southwest, that's what's warming things up. The Twins open at home tomorrow, and they're calling for a high temperature of 39 degrees. As Mauer has his second single to center field, and the Twins have their first leadoff man on. It's only going to be 84 in Houston tomorrow. The Royals.
Beautiful.
Our sprint trivia question: who holds the Royals record for most wins in a single season against the Twins? Edinson Volquez had 3 last year. I don't think that's a record. I want to say it's someone recent, like maybe the year before or the year before that. We've told you that the Royals have dominated the, well, not dominated, but they've won the last 3 season series with Minnesota. But in 2013, the Royals went 15-4 against the Twins. So maybe it was that year.
Am I going to have to do some exhaustive research here on this one? This is a tough question.
Well, let's see. That 13 rotation was James Shields.
You know, that could be a good one there. James Shields, maybe he was. I don't know.
Jeremy Guthrie.
How about that guy? He was starting then. I do remember Wade Davis, when the game was just about over, a little comebacker to the mound or down the third base line, he picked it up and he threw it away. Remember? Oh, he threw it home.
He spiked it.
Yeah.
And I think,
sorry, Wade.
well, no, it's a good point to bring up, because that was probably his lowest point as a Royal, and I think from that point on is when the turnaround began.
Yeah,
that was 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was a painful error.
3 balls and 1 strike on Miguel Sano.
But you know, you're right. Since then, every comebacker, he would make sure to set his feet. I remember that ball, he was off balance, you know, tried to make a throw on the run, and that's really hard to do for even an infielder.
Bruce Chen was on that 13 Royals team. Danny Duffy was a starter then. Irvin Santana. Full count. A reminder, as you enjoy a cold one, to look forward to Miller Time later in today's game, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Well, one thing's been missing from the pitching, although it's been great, is there hasn't been a lane ball. No double plays yet this year. Last year, Volquez induced 20 ground ball double plays.
He'll take a strikeout here against Sano. Second time he has struck out Sano. And now Volquez has 5. And I believe that was a career high for Volquez, those 20 ground ball double plays.
Yeah, you know, and with the pitches moving down, see where that ball's going. I mean, if that ball's elevated about 3 more inches, he would have hit the top of the ball right to Escobar. So when you have pitches that move down in the zone, you know, hitters at last minute, they're going to top it. That's why he's a grab some bench. You know, when Ian Kennedy said he saw me play, I think I heard him say that. I was going to say, man, you had to have a good pair of high-powered binoculars to see me in the dugout, because that's I grabbed some bench.
Well, and I was, when he said that, I was surprised, because as he was saying that, we put his vital information on the screen that he was 31 years old, and I thought he has to be at least 41 years old if he saw you play, right?
No question. But I had a little bench rot in my game.
0-2 on Young Ho Park. Good breaking ball from Volquez, and that's one of Volquez's best pitches, but as we've learned, your breaking ball better be in the right spot to this guy. Still 0-2. Volquez struck out Park with a changeup in the second inning. Only one of his 5 strikeouts, Volquez, today has been with a fastball. So he's been setting the hitters up with fastballs and putting them away with breaking balls and changeups. And there's a changeup. He went. 6 strikeouts in 3 2/3 innings, and the second time he has struck out Park. That's what you were talking about when he batted in the second inning, Hud, that when Volquez is throwing 95, he's going to have to start cheating on that fastball.
Yeah, and he was out there thinking, he was a little bit behind that last one, and he's really jumped out there and couldn't check his swing. Again, the changeup, just a devastating pitch.
And now Eduardo Escobar.
And Eduardo Escobar is the Minnesota Twin who has hit in all 5 games so far this year. I said first time around it was Eduardo Nunez. I mixed up my Eduardos, and I'm thinking Eduardo Nunez, I looked at, he don't even have a batting average yet. How could he have hit in all 5 games? One of the many mistakes.
The Twins have 2 Eduardos and a Guardado.
Yeah, and those 2 guys are hitting, right next to each other in the order. I kind of got confused there.
Eddie Guardado, Royals fans would be familiar with him. Longtime Minnesota Twins setup man and then closer, is now their bullpen coach.
He has a son that's in Hollywood already. His name's Nico.
Nico. I remember when Nico was a baby.
Great kid, fun. Knew him. We lived in the same neighborhood when I lived out there before I came to greener pastures out here.
Beverly Hills just didn't cut it for you, huh?
No, wasn't working. They weren't playing championship caliber ball there.
Volquez struck out 2 in the first inning, 1 in the second, 1 in the third. He has 2 in the fourth, and that Creighton fan is hoping that he strikes out the side. 2 balls and 2 strikes. He does. And it's with his changeup. All 3 strikeouts in this inning on the changeup. Sano, Park, and Escobar.
Just as steady as Eddie can be.
Reichmuth, an Eagle Scout currently attending Olathe East High School. Recently, Nate noticed a man in danger of drowning in a southern Ozark River. He dove into high waters, swam to him, and then safely brought the man to shore. Nate was awarded the Boy Scouts Life-Saving Award for saving a life under circumstance that indicated heroism and risk of his own life. Sitting in the Buck O'Neil Legacy seat at today's game, which also happens to be Scouts Day. Nate, what are we going to go with? Reichmuth or Reichmuth of Olathe East High School?
Man, I don't know, but I'll tell you, that's wonderful. Great to see that happen. Save somebody else's life. Beautiful thing. And you put your own life at risk.
Well decorated, too.
Look at him. Way to go, young man.
Mike Moustakas struck out against Nolasco in the first inning. Tied him up. Park waits on the ground ball, takes it to the bag himself, and there's one down. Remember to vote for the Royals Player of the Month at one of the 7 Rally House locations in the Kansas City metro area. All participants will be entered to win a majestic prize pack.
I guarantee you, Paul Molitor, he's got to be thrilled with what Nolasco's doing so far to the world champs. He's just really mixing up his pitch as well. His split finger, he's got a nice big slow curve, and he's spotting his fastball and keeping it off the barrel of the Royals.
He, as we pointed out, has not had 2 good years at all with Minnesota, but the Royals have seen the best of Nolasco. He's made 6 starts prior to today. 3 of them he allowed 1 or 0 runs, and then in the other 3 he allowed exactly 5 runs. So there's the exact opposite of what you were describing an inning ago about Ned Yost has the peace of mind knowing the consistency he's getting from his starters. The Twins have no idea what they're going to get from Ricky Nolasco.
So far, so good for them.
Look at that. He's been good today. Lorenzo grounded out to the shortstop Escobar in the first inning. The Royals have only hit 1 ball to the outfield, if you don't count Morales' ground ball that made it to the outfield, but everything else has been either on the ground or a strikeout. He has an infield pop-up, and only Eric Hosmer drove the ball to the outfield with a fly out in the second inning.
Well, that big slow curveball, he's going to have to get that down, or somebody is going to get that, I can tell you. You throw those breaking balls that are up there, especially the second, third time through the order, hitters put that in the back of their mind, and they make a mental picture of that, and then when they see it out as a release point again, they go, oh yeah, I remember, I'm going to get this one. Didn't want to fall in love with that curveball too much.
There it was, but it was slow enough to still throw Cain's timing off. 73 miles an hour. So Cain gets it to the outfield, but out, and now 2 down in the bottom of the 4th. Here's our Fox Tracks, brought to you by the Missouri Lottery. It's like an impressive yoga pose or something, isn't it?
You know, that's extremely flexible for him to do that lean back like he does. That's amazing. Check that out, man. That hurts just looking at that.
Like a warrior pose or something.
Yeah, no question. Fizz would know better than that. He'd know the name of that.
Fizz knows the name of that pose, huh?
Yeah, he would. I just do what they tell me. I really don't think about the names of what they do, but just do it.
How about Hosmer for a little trip to the hydration station? Isn't that what he calls it?
Absolutely. That's a good call, partner.
Kind of a muggy day today.
Hardly any wind.
Due for his first home run. That would be just fine.
That's refreshing.
Dozier to the middle. So Nolasco continues to keep the Royals on the ground. Only 3 outs in the air in his 4 scoreless innings.
At Kauffman Stadium, Joe Goldberg back here as Edinson Volquez returns to the mound with the proper hat on. That was not the case in the opener last Sunday night. Everybody went out there with the right hats except for Eddie. And the hat with the crown looks great, by the way, but he had worn his spring training hat out to the mound. They wear those for batting practice. And word could spread pretty quickly because all it took was mention on the national broadcast. That made its way to the clubhouse, and Eddie, who I was told was just cracking up when he found out about his faux pas. Got to imagine, Hud, there might be a little bit of kangaroo court on that one, although many of the Royals players I talked to said even after the fact they were unaware that that had happened. But Eddie certainly knew about it. And by the way, they auctioned off that hat for I think about a couple $100 to go to Royals charity. So a nice little productive inning there and a 1-2-3.
You're right, Joel. That's an automatic fine when you have a kangaroo court.
How about when your helmet comes off on a single to right field? Is that a
means you better get a new helmet size?
That could be a small fine, though, couldn't it?
Yeah, it's possible. Oh, everything's brought up in those meetings, man. Those are fun. That's one of the things that help keep the clubhouse loose. And you know, usually they have the judge who's the guy who has the most time, or the oldest guy on the team. He sits there and oversees everybody. It's a good laughing session.
Who was your best kangaroo court judge in your long career?
Oh man, I'm gonna go out and tell you Lee Smith. Lee Arthur Smith. He was great. I thought he'd be a Hall of Famer too by now. He's great. They go all out and get the hair that the judge wears and everything. The long hair down to the side. I mean, it was serious business when it was a court date in the clubhouse. You had to show up early. No swearing in court. You had to really watch what you did. It was all court rules.
Okay.
Yeah, and guys would they would spout out when a case was brought up against them, and they didn't like it. They'd stand up and yell, blank blank, and that's $20 right there. Pay the court.
Nunez gets a stolen bases. Salvador Perez wasn't able to handle that pitch from Volquez, so runner at second base with nobody out. Do you remember your most unique fine in all your years in kangaroo court, or maybe the most expensive fine?
Well, there was many, and for many teams, but I can tell you that when it started getting off the field and started going into the cities, when guys were out at night and during the day, that's when it got really interesting.
The off the field stuff?
The off the field stuff was the most fun, because then you could have one of your teammates speak up for you on your behalf, but you had to stand up and address the court and say, hey, look, on my behalf, I'd like my partner here to back me up there. If the girls weren't attractive, that was a fine.
Well, we're about to get an FCC fine, so let's.
Well, you're asking me some of these things.
Yeah.
You know how small my mind is.
So basically, it had something to do with the quality of company off the field.
That's right.
The boundaries extended away from the ballpark.
No question.
Okay. Moving right along, back to live action.
I'll pop him up here.
2-2 on John Ryan Murphy. Well, this has been the Twins' big struggle this year, and it's been an area where the Royals have thrived. Early in the season, the Twins hitting .079 with runners in scoring position, and Royals pitchers holding their opponents to a .059 average with runners in scoring position. Changeup struck him out. Murphy does not advance the runner. That is 8 strikeouts for Edinson Volquez in 4 1/3 innings.
And when you're facing a guy like Volquez and Kennedy last night, guys that were on top of their game, now he's thinking, I want to get the runner over it. He thought he had a pitch to do it, but with that late movement like that, it makes you look bad. And then you walk back to the dugout. Oh, and that's a long walk back. Especially one of his first starts for the team. During the regular season. You want to make the manager happy.
In case you're wondering, Volquez season high in strikeouts for the Royals last year was 9, and he already has 8.
Pitch count manageable, 74.
Buxton struck out on that pitch, a curveball in the 3rd inning. We'll see Carlos Correa tomorrow, last year's American League Rookie of the Year. He was the 1st overall pick in 2013. The 2nd overall pick was Byron Buxton. Nunez is halfway. He'll go back to 2nd on the fly out to center field, and now they're 2 down. Don't forget, Royals fans, you can bring home your piece of history. World Series replica fan rings, pendants, cufflinks, and more are available. So get crowned today by going online at royals.com/fanrings to own a piece of this one-of-a-kind collection.
One of the great things about Edinson Volquez, one of the many great things, is that he really bears down when it comes to with a runner in scoring position. Last year he held batters to just a 158 average. It's knowing how to execute your pitches when you have to.
Upstairs to Dozier.
One of the fundamental things in baseball, and it goes from little league and young all the way to the top. Look at Lorenzo Cain calling for the ball, and Alex Gordon wasn't near him. But instinctively, he's calling for the ball. I got it. I got it. Yell it as loud as you can. Communicate with your outfielders. That saves a lot of problems. I see balls go up in the youth leagues, and I don't hear anything. And you hear the coaches yelling, call for it. Somebody call for it. Baseball, it seems like it's a non-vocal game, but it really is. You need to talk. When your pitcher's going, he's struggling, talk to him. Encourage him. Talk out there, man. Don't be afraid to do that. Especially calling for that ball.
2-1, and in that case there, it might not be, as you said, Alex Gordon was nowhere near. It may not have been Cain telling Alex, don't worry, I've got it, but it might be Cain telling Alex, I see it, because remember all the problems Cain had on Tuesday against the Mets. Different time of day, but the sun was really a problem for him. So, let the wing guys know whether they need to come help you out or not.
Very important. Woo, man.
Wicked. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Gosh, that didn't have the big break to it. He threw that a little bit harder. That was nice. That fooled me. Dozier. Watch Dozier. He flinched a little bit there. That's a beauty.
High fastball, line to left center. Alex slides to make the play. So the Twins had a runner at second base with nobody out, and that makes them 3 for 41 with runners in scoring position, and it all ends with the Royals' defensive gem.
Yeah, he Tommy hawked that to the wrong guy. Out.
Has struck out 8. Ricky Nolasco has only allowed 1 hit. And no score to the bottom of the 5th inning with Morales, Gordon, and Perez coming up. That 1 hit was turned in by Morales, a ground ball into center field in the 2nd inning. He beat the overshift over to the right. Pulled into the Royals dugout. No balls and 2 strikes.
You know, as we witnessed in last night's game, all it takes is just 1 hit for the Royals to get ignited.
Yeah, last night Tommy Malone set down the first 10 Royals, and then Mike Moustakas homered with 1 out in the 4th, and the Royals went on to score 7 runs in the next 3 innings. Hold on the ground to Dozier, who's in shallow right field. 1 down. Comic-Con fans, join us at the ballpark. It's a big night for you, Hud. Join us at the ballpark for the first Planet Comic-Con Kansas City Day, April 24th against the Orioles. Your theme ticket comes with a Planet Comic-Con theme Royals shirt and game ticket. Cosplay is also encouraged, so come dressed in the costume of your favorite character. I'm just reading and I have no idea what that means.
Must be costume.
No, but Comic-Con and cosplay. Do you know what that is?
Oh, I'm not from that planet.
Or that moon. One and 1 to Alex. Slow curveball is high. On this date 8 years ago, how about that? The silent treatment after that play. On this date 8 years ago, Alex hit his first major league home run. Foul ball. He hit it against Josh Towers at Rogers Center in Toronto. I remember what I remember about that story is Alex, of course, arrived with quite a bit of hype. He got the standing ovation everyone talks about before his first major league at bat against Curt Schilling on opening day of 2007. The Royals on their first trip went to Toronto. He had not homered yet, and Zach Greinke began to give him a hard time. Fastball in for a strike. Fastball at 93 with some movement. And as the story goes, Zach took Alex into the video room at Rogers Center and showed him his home run. And here's how you do it.
Wow.
Zach had hit a home run in 05 at Arizona. Oh, so just to kind of lighten him up and loosen him up. And when you know, that very night, he hit his first home run.
There you go.
That might have been the nastiest pitch that Nolasco has thrown all day.
You know, he's a totally different pitcher. Now 8 days rest. That's the first ball that's been struck well.
Oh, and it's over Sano's head. Salvi digs for two, and he's in scoring position with two down.
You know, that's the first real solid contact off of Nolasco all day. I mean, Hosmer hit a pretty good ball to left center field, but Salvi, he barreled this one. And the ball had some carry, had some backspin on it. And Sano looked like he drifted a little bit. But again, this young man's getting used to playing right field and the outfield, and it's tough to read the carry on the ball. Now, most balls that are hit off a right-handed bat are going to be tailing towards that line. And Nolasco wasn't happy about that, but hey, you're going to have to get used to that, young man. He's got a great bat. You got to put him in there somewhere.
Slider for a strike to Christian Colon. Salvador Perez has 4 hits in this series with Minnesota. 3 have been for extra bases. He's already scored 4 runs, and now Colon will try and get him home with 2 down in the 5th inning. Close. But down and away. Remember, in Game 5 of the World Series, Colon drove in Gerard Dyson, but Dyson was running for Perez. Christian Colon had not played in 27 days before that at bat against Addison Reed. He comes into today's game having not played in 4 days, so that's nothing compared to last year's postseason.
No. He's very calm and quiet at the plate. He doesn't jump around, and he shows no nerves at all. Take a deep breath there. That helps. It relaxes the muscles. But last year, the Royals were the best in the world at hitting with runners in scoring position and 2 outs. They hit .278.
2-2.
Nolasco staying soft with him. Been staying with those breaking balls on him. Good spot, great location. But what makes Colon dangerous in situations like this is that, you know, he's not up there going to try to juice a home run or anything. He's just going to go up there and try to keep his swing short, put the ball in a hole somewhere, and, you know, if he hits it hard at an outfielder, they'll have to hold him. Jershely will, because they got good arms in the outfield, the Twins do.
Fastball up the middle. Dozier bobbles, recovers, and the inning is over. So the Royals get just their 2nd hit of the game against Nolasco. Perez is stranded at 2nd, and now no score at the end of 5. promised earlier in the game, it's Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite.
Edison Volquez is just very crisp with all of his pitches, a lot like Ian Kennedy last night, really working the lower part of that strike zone very well. Minnesota's, they've mustered 4 hits, but none with a runner in scoring position. Eddie is being as steady as he typically is, and going to make it tough on the Twins. If they're going to beat him, they're going to have to get a big hit off of him with a runner in scoring position. So far, Eddie's been stingy.
So he has now pitched 11 scoreless innings to begin 2016. He'll get the 2, 3, and 4 hitters in the top of the 6th, and a slider's in for a strike to Eddie Rosario as we welcome in Denny Matthews. Our Sundays with Denny begin today. Hi, Den.
Hi, guys.
You wore a collared shirt.
Hi, everybody. What are you so funny? What are you laughing about?
I'm excited to have you up here, man. We haven't seen you much all spring, and you know, haven't had a chance to talk to you, but glad you could join us.
It's always fun. I like coming over and scuffling with you boys.
Speaking about scuffling, how about the Minnesota Twins?
Oh my gosh. You don't think that there's frustration building in that dugout? They're just not moving runners. Too many strikeouts. It's tough. It's a tough way to start.
1-2 on Eddie Rosario, and you know, their last half inning they had a runner at second base with nobody out, and talking about not moving runners, the next 3 make outs, so that makes them 3 for 41 with runners in scoring position to begin the year.
Yeah, that's what a lot of strikeouts offensively will do for you. Nothing.
Rosario has struck out and flied to center field, and now past Volquez and into center. So this will be the 3rd consecutive inning that Minnesota's had the leadoff man on. It is the Twins' 5th hit, all singles. All right, Denny, you want to take a shot at our Sprint trivia question? Who holds the Royals record for most wins in a single season against the Twins?
Well, I'm going to think back to, I'm going to give you 3 names. Is that fair?
Yep.
Okay, let's go Dennis Leonard, Paul Splittorff, Red Saberhagen.
Those are 3 names that would answer several Royals trivia questions. I don't know the answer, but I just have a feeling that it was more recent than that, and I looked it up. In 2013, the Royals were 15-4 against the Twins, and I wondered if it was that year. We haven't had any help from the truck.
I'm going to go way out on a limb here, only because I think they gave it away earlier with a shot of Wade Davis. My guess is Wade Davis. Just because they showed him out of nowhere. Yeah, I was like, really? Oh, well, hey, Wade. You know, and then we brought up an unfortunate play that he made in that year at home and gave the game away, but he could be the guy.
Not a bad guess. You wouldn't think a bullpen guy. I just named 3 starters.
Yeah.
That's your first instinct.
Now, Irvin Santana, the year he was with the Royals, he won 9 games that year. So he would have had to have won 6 of the 9 against Minnesota. I don't think that happened. I don't know if the answer is 6 or not.
It's a pretty good question to get things rolling early in the season, isn't it?
If it was that year, I'm going to say it was Jeremy Guthrie.
Who thinks up these questions?
Usually it's Al Broughton.
Yeah,
yep.
That's what I thought. He's pretty tricky.
That's right. They're good questions, and they're usually tricky.
Yeah.
Hosmer off of his glove, and that's just enough for everybody to reach. Pretty good recovery there. I thought when that ball deflected off of Hosmer's glove, the play was over, but Colon almost connected with Volquez to get an out.
Yeah, good for Volquez, taking nothing for granted, getting over there to first. And you're right. They came very close to getting the out at first. Nice play by Colon.
Yeah, to be able to move one direction to your left and then to stop and have to go back to your right, that sometimes you feel like you're in slow motion. That's a nice try. So now, just like you talked about, not able to move runners, they get a little something going here, but you got a guy like Sano up. He's not going to bunt. They're counting on him to get a big hit for him. This is where Edison really bears down right here.
Yeah, you've got two guys back-to-back in their lineup in Sano and Park, both of whom strike out a bunch. We were wondering over on the radio side, why would you have those two guys back-to-back in your lineup?
Pitch was out over the plate, and Sano goes into right center field. And Eddie Rosario's leadoff single turns into a run. Single, single, single. And Minnesota takes a 1-0 lead in the 6th inning.
That's what Molitor's been waiting for, somebody to come through with a runner in scoring position. And that's a good, short, compact swing. That's going to make Molitor happy. His big fella here not swinging for the fences. He wants to move the runners. This is exactly what I'm sure Tom Bernansky, their hitting coach, had a little meeting with them talking about. We got to do the little things to make it big.
Yeah, we're not looking for a 3-run home run right now. We're looking for a well-hit ball to get a run home and kind of break the deadlock. All the frustration the Twins have mustered over the first 6 games. I mean, that had to be building. They lost 3 in Baltimore. They were in danger, are in danger of losing 3 here. Then you go home 0-6. That's some pressure.
And Coach Haver warms up with Volquez at 90 pitches. Looked like there Eddie just simply missed his spot. Salvador Perez was set up inside against Sano, and it was toward the outside part of the plate. And now Young Ho Park with 2 on and nobody out.
I think one of the things that Volquez has really done well so far is pitch the right-handed hitters tight. He's really tight all of them up, and then he'll get the outs with breaking stuff away to the big free swingers like this guy.
Double play could really help him here, and you know, we talked about all of Edison's pitches going down in the zone, Denny, and he induced 20 last year ground ball double plays. It's been a good time for one here.
Perfect.
Change up, and he's already struck out Park twice with that pitch today. It's Mauer at second base. He does not run well. Sano at first, who runs well for his size, but not necessarily fast. One and two.
When the game started, there was hardly any breeze at all, just a very gentle breeze moving toward left. Well, the flags are now pointed toward the right field corner. The wind has shifted. Now it's out of the northwest and a little more brisk than when the game started. This is the first game we've had where the wind hadn't been a huge factor.
Right. And we've seen it blow in every direction.
Oh my. Sometimes at the same time.
2 balls and 2 strikes.
I don't think any other element in our weather affects a game more than wind. Cold is okay, but if there's no wind, you know, you can get through that, but the wind, you know, can really affect you. The flight of the ball, you know, the vision of the players, hitting, you know, that whole thing, the dirt blowing.
Well, you can dress for the temperature. It's very difficult to dress for the wind.
Chopped foul, still 2-2.
You guys think the home run that Park hit the other night, Friday night, with the wind blasting in from left field was pretty impressive?
Oh my.
I mean, he got that thing pretty well over the fence in left center and into the teeth of that wind, and it was pretty fearsome.
He probably should have hit 2 that night. Because the one he hit to center that Kane ran down,
yep,
the different wind on a different night, that's probably out of here. There it is, a fastball trying to tie up Park. which I think is what he was trying to do with Miguel Sano. Keep those big, strong hitters from getting those arms extended.
We'll see if he goes with the changeup, pulls the string on him 3-2 after that fastball. Park's looking for it. Fastball right here.
Struck him out 3 times, and all 3 have been with a changeup, and that's 9 strikeouts for Edinson Volquez. Let's go to Joel.
Well, that actually sets a Royals 3-game series record, guys, against the Twins. They now have 32 strikeouts in a 3-game series. They've never done that before. But a little hint to your trivia question. They broke the record set in 2013 when they had 31 in a 3-game series with a name led by a name that Ryan might have mentioned before.
I might have mentioned it before. That's a heck of a clue.
The name was not mentioned.
I might not have mentioned it too. Is that what you're saying?
All right, you mentioned it.
Thank you.
It was not mentioned by HUD. It was not mentioned by Denny. But in that series, they had a 7 strikeout, 8 strikeout, and 16 strikeout games. The first one featured a complete game 7 strikeout performance by
that guy.
That guy.
Who, if it's the one I'm thinking of, was not really known as a strikeout pitcher.
No. 1-1 on Eduardo Escobar. He is 0 for 2. Well, the name I mentioned as my guess was Jeremy Guthrie.
And HUD and I know that you said that. It wasn't a maybe.
We could probably check the tape if we need to.
May have to.
Here's pitch number 100. Good slider for a strike. 1-2. All right, let's go to the board. No, just 4 wins. Thought maybe it'd be 5 or 6. Most wins for the Royals against a team in one season. Most losses for the Twins against a team in one season, when the Royals went 15-4 against Minnesota in 2013. Struck him out. 10 strikeouts for Volquez. His career high, by the way, is 13. And now 2 down.
Yeah, that was a quick turnaround, wasn't it, when the Royals began to dominate Minnesota? Because you and I know for sure, Ryan, that for a 9 or 10 year period, it was the other way around. Boy, Minnesota just bedeviled the Royals year after year.
That period, Denny, was 2004 to 2012. And the Royals were 61-104 against Minnesota. 43 games below 500. And that seems low to me, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Now Eduardo Nunez, who is 2 for 2. Volquez still throwing in the mid-90s. If Volquez can get out of this, both teams will feel pretty good. Minnesota's got a run, so they're on the board, but I think Volquez and the Royals will feel pretty good that it was just 1 run.
Agreed.
Into center field. Mauer does not run well. He's going to be waved home, and Kane does not come up with it cleanly in center field. So the Twins take a 2-0 lead, and I think Lorenzo Cain knew who he was dealing with as a runner and was thinking about making a good throw to the plate.
And I think he took a little peek.
Well, you know, you mentioned the 10 errors that Cain made last year, and if I can remember, most of them were all on balls like that, on ground balls and balls that bounced up a little bit, and he had a difficult time with some of those. And Denny, you're right, he looked up on that.
Still a good day for Edinson Volquez. Luke Hochevar making sure it's official. He jogs in from the left field bullpen. Chevy called to the bullpen. Minnesota leads 2-0.
Royals baseball is brought to you by your local Kansas City area Chevy dealers. Visit for great prices on all the new 2016 Malibus. By Panera Bread, food as it should be with 24 KC Metro locations. And by Academy Sports and Outdoors, right stuff, low price every day. Edinson Volquez gives up 2 runs in 5 2/3 innings. He's still responsible for runners at first and third as Luke Hochevar pitches to John Ryan Murphy. And that's hit well to right field. Paulo Orlando is there. So Hochevar, as he's done early in the season, comes on in the middle of the inning, puts the fire out. But Minnesota gets 2 for a 2-0 lead.
Twins 2-0. Our Mazda game break takes us to Baltimore. A lot of talk in that division about just about everyone except the Orioles. Manny Machado and the Orioles, though, are on fire. That's a home run. They're up 4-3. The only undefeated team left in the major leagues, so they have yet to lose. The Twins have yet to win, and trying to get that today, guys.
All right, Joel, and Ricky Nolasco has only surrendered 2 hits in his first 5 innings. Paulo Orlando leads off, and a slider is inside for ball 1.
You ready for my trivia question?
Let's go.
Today?
Bring it.
How many times last year did the Royals give up a run or 2 or 3, and the very next inning the Royals would come roaring back? I don't know the answer, but it's a lot.
Well,
that?
Last night wasn't much of a game. Royals won 7-0, but on Friday night, Minnesota scored a run in the second inning. The Royals scored 2 in the second inning. Minnesota tied it in the 6th. They took the lead in the 8th. The Royals scored 2 in the bottom of the 8th. I mean, that was Royals baseball last year.
Bingo.
Repeated on Friday.
Yeah, and that's the reason the 41 come from behind wins. I mean, it's almost like they dare the opponents to get ahead of them.
And it really didn't matter whether it was home or away. A little more dramatic when you do it at home, especially in the 8th or 9th inning. But yeah, that was the one constant from beginning to end.
And on Friday night, Alex Gordon swings at the first pitch, base hit. Salvador Perez, it was like the second pitch, triple, tie game. Omar Infante sac fly. It was over in a flash. 3 balls and 1 strike on Paulo Orlando, who fouled out to first his first time up. The Royals and the Astros, we'll see them tomorrow, tied for the league lead with most come from behind wins. No surprise that 4 out of those top 5 teams were playoff teams. Ooh, he got a hittable pitch there, 3-1 up, and Paulo gestures to himself. And he should have done more with that pitch.
Nolasco is hittable. Would you guys agree?
I would.
Strike 3 over the outside. That is Nolasco's 4th.
Denny, that 1985 World Championship ring, the Royals' first, is a beauty, and you like to wear that. Now, we just received some new ones. Can we show the comparison of the 85 and the 2015 rings to the people, the size and the look and the difference of them?
You hold that one. I'll hold this one.
Did that one seem big in 85, Denny?
Yes.
You look at that in 85 and go, oh my goodness, look at the size of this.
Yeah, because I really, all my life, have not been a ring person. So, yeah, it was, but you got to love that one, don't you? I mean, that's classy looking, and
it's beautiful. They're both really great.
Magnificent, isn't it?
Yeah, the one that they just gave us is really bling material.
Yeah. You know what's impressive about these rings is how much information you get on a ring.
Yeah, and how about the inside? Yeah, the
that's what I'm saying.
inside's, monogrammed. Yeah, well, monogrammed. I don't know what the word is.
That's the whole postseason story right there inside the ring.
If a geologist finds that ring 1,000 years from now, they'll know everything they need to know about the Royals in 2015.
Yep. It will have a familiar ring to it, so to speak.
They won't be like hieroglyphics where you got to try and figure it out on your own. Now, what were they? What did this mean? I mean, it's the whole history is right there.
Pretty impressive. Great job by those who designed, and many thanks to David, Dan Glass. They doled out plenty, and that was very generous.
And showing it around the last few days we've had it, I've really enjoyed it. I almost feel like it's the people's. So it's really fun to be able to show it to the Royals fans who made a huge difference. There's the hanger.
That is just a little bit foul. 1-2 on Escobar. Our Sonic Slam inning contestant is Jim Cunningham from Kansas City, Missouri. If the Royals hit a home run in this inning, Jim wins $100. We had a Sonic Slam winner last night. If the Royals hit a grand slam out of the park, Jim wins $25 grand from Sonic and the Royals. Murphy throws down to first. 5 strikeouts for Ricky Nolasco as he continues to give the Royals a bad time today.
Yeah, his off-speed stuff, especially to some of the lefties, have been pretty impressive. He's gotten the Royals to go fishing, and that's a little bit unusual. The Royals normally, and now they're a veteran team, I think it's safe to say, are pretty disciplined. Morales on his hit, first time up, ground ball into center field. He waited back. He really did a good job. He was out in front of the pitch, but he kept his hands back and just guided it up the middle. But aside from that, Nolasco has given the lefties some problems with that off-speed stuff.
He got Moustakas with a strikeout in the first inning, and then Moustakas rolled to first in the 4th and tied him up with that pitch. One ball, 1 strike. The grid said it was a little low. And that one was downstairs, 2-1. And Nolasco's in great shape with his pitch count. He's only thrown 82 pitches.
Got to be able to give John Ryan Murphy some credit for how he's guiding Velasco. He's doing a great job behind the plate, setting up right, calling the right pitches. He deserves a little bit of credit as well.
Oh, blasted to right center field. Mike Moustakas has homered in back-to-back games. And in back-to-back games, we have a Sonic Slam winner. Congratulations to Jim Cunningham from KCMO. Wins $100 with that Mike Moustakas home run.
Right down the middle, Denny. Split the dish in two. You can't get a better home run pitch than that. But give the hitter some credit. You got to hit it just right. Square it up. Get some back underneath and get a little bit of backspin. That ball was tattered and battered.
Well, let's see if the Royals can get another run. But here they are, answering their opponent. Right after the Twins had some momentum, getting a couple runs in the top of the top half of the inning, the Royals get one back.
It's their calling card.
Last night, Moustakas and Kane went back-to-back. That was in the fourth inning. Tommy Milone set down the first 10 Royals. Moustakas homered to snap the string, and then Kane followed with a home run. Lorenzo is grounded to short and flied to center today. Nice backhand play by Nunez, and then just a little half throw over to first, and Park handles it to end the inning. So the Royals are on the board. Mike Moustakas gets the Royals' first run with his second home run of the season. It looked like it was going to be a long night for the Royals against Tommy Milone. Mike Moustakas put an end to that with a home run in the fourth inning, and it has been a long day against Ricky Nolasco today, but Mike Moustakas in the sixth put the Royals on the board.
Yeah, that fastball worked its way right over the middle of the plate, like you said, Hud.
Yeah, that's, you know, to go this deep into the game and not make any mistakes has been pretty good for him. Especially Ryan mentioning the over 400 average on his fastball last season.
Yeah, the league hit 434 off of Nolasco's fastball last year. And Moustakas makes a play on Buxton. One down. Lou Kochaver got the final out of the sixth inning for Edinson Volquez, and now he gets his first clean inning of the year. Parents, sign your kids up for Slugger's Blue Crew to get the little ones all geared up for the baseball season. This year we feature trendy Royals blue and neon colors. Members received a zippered performance pullover, a flat bill cap, a sports necklace, 2 tickets to a Royals game, a free stadium tour, and more for just $25. And join now at Royals.com/Blue Crew.
Hey, we need to wish Slugger a happy birthday today.
Brian Dozier, left center field and deep, and gone. So Brian Dozier, who hit 28 home runs last year, none against the Royals. He gets that run right back with his first home run of the season, and Minnesota has another 2-run lead.
Well, he's hunting first pitch fastball all the way there. Short, compact swing. The pitch was already elevated, so it was on a tee for him, a lot like Moustakas' homer, and he got it.
Yeah, obviously we don't know the personalities of all the Minnesota players, but just watching them play for the last couple of years, don't you think that Dozier is kind of the heart and soul of their team?
I do.
Yeah, I mentioned that last night. I believe he's their best player.
Cannot disagree.
He's the one that's been most vocal about wanting to win and doing whatever it takes to win. I watched him in the dugout in the game on Friday night, and the way he responded when his team scored runs.
And he stole a base the other night with them down a run, and just you could tell he was dying for one of the guys to get him home, and they didn't. But he'll battle you.
And then he got in the rundown, and he was very active. He laid down to miss the tag from Escobar and almost got Escobar to miss on an out there. So you could tell by just the sense of urgency, the way he plays, that these guys are hungry for a W.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind him on my team at second base.
Yeah, no, he's a good player. Watch this. He's not conceding anything.
Nothing.
Escobar stepped on his leg, but he was quick enough with his hand to get that ball up, and it would have guaranteed an out there with both runners there. But still, Dozier didn't give up.
Stayed in the rundown long enough to get Mauer to second base. So, no, he's good. He's a good, tough player.
Ooh. Did that hit his shin guard pad on his right leg?
I didn't hear the familiar clank.
Yeah, you know, that's.
Ooh, no, that's thud. That's not clank.
Ooh, sorry about that.
Clank is okay. Thud is not.
You're right.
No thud, Hud.
No, and the thud really hurts, especially right there, the knee. That's dangerous.
I'll just throw this out there. Sometimes the ball just gets away from a pitcher, and sometimes the night before your teammate gets a pitch thrown behind him. So
never know.
You can make your conclusion from those two statements. Paulo Orlando last night. Glenn Perkins out of the blue just threw one right behind him.
Who knows what lurks in the mind of pitchers?
Right.
Here
this
it
was
is.
in the 9th inning in a 7-0 game.
The guys were not amused.
Nope. All right, explain baseball etiquette here. That is just for conversation's sake. If in fact something's going on, is throwing at a guy and missing him the same as hitting him?
It's the mentality. It's the whole mindset. Yeah, if you miss a guy, look, you know, you're bad, but also the intent was there.
Thank you, Denny.
You're welcome, guys. Always enjoy it.
Way to go, Denny.
Miguel Sano just got ejected.
Beautiful.
So with that, God bless America. You can't beat fun at the old ballpark.
Ever.
I tell you time and time again. It's also Scouts Day, and singing God Bless America is Ethan Kallenberger.
God bless America, the land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home.
German-born Max Kepler, who was just called up with Danny Santana going on the disabled list, and he's stretching in right field, replacing Miguel Sano, who was ejected after he struck out against Luke Hochevar to end the top of the 7th inning. That was the 3rd strikeout for Sano, and he had words with John Hirschbeck, and he is gone. Ricky Nolasco has pitched 6 innings. He has given up 3 hits. One was a home run to Mike Moustakas. So this is a very promising start for Minnesota and their fans. This is what they had in mind when Nolasco was signed before the 2014 season. On the other side, the Royals were the best along with the Astros and come from behind victories last year in the American League, and they already have one in this series against the Twins. 2 balls and 2 strikes on Hosmer.
Well, with 3 more shots to go and the way the Royals come back, I'm sure there's nobody in there getting giddy on the Minnesota side. That's for sure.
Hosmer is flied to left and grounded out to second base. In the air to left field. Rosario waits for it. And there's one down.
I'll mention Slugger's birthday today. You know, what's a birthday without your friends? He brought a whole bunch of friends with him to celebrate. Before the game, they're all here. Even the Astros.
You got what, Cubby Bear, Fred Bird, and Orbit, who is the Astros mascot. We'll see him tomorrow. Slugger was born in '96, I think.
Okay.
Who else is here? Casey Wolf was here. TC Bear, the mascot of the Twins. And the Houston Texans mascot. Toro, is that his name?
Yep. Where's Youppi?
That's the Expos.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, they had 2 exhibition games again this year before the season started and sold out both nights. Not sure if he made an appearance.
Morales has one of the 3 Royals hits. Got the outside, 1 ball, 2 strikes. That's the way Nolasco's going today. He missed the target by the length of the plate, but still threw a strike. Murphy was set up down and in. That pitch was down and away. Still 1-2. And Nolasco's pitch count is still very good. 95 pitches. Last year, Ricky Nolasco, now it was an injury shortened season for him, but he went 7 innings 1 time all of last year. And he's trying to do it today in his very first start. Hit well to center field, and Buxton is right there. 2 down. Remember, this week only, T-Mobile customers can get a free season-long subscription to MLB.TV Premium. Go to T-Mobile.com/MLB to sign up now and catch every moment on America's fastest-growing LTE network.
Well, you know, it just goes to show you, when you're a pitcher, a starting pitcher, and you mix up all of your pitches and you have command with all of them, the success you can have off of hitters. Doesn't matter the velocity. He's been hitting his spots. Really good breaking pitches today. Secondary pitches are working well for him.
Very few so-called fat pitches down the middle of the plate. He has struck out Alex twice, once swinging and once looking. Broke his bat. And it's Escobar coming over from the left side of second base. 3 up, 3 down. So Ricky Nolasco goes 7 innings and gives up 1 run on 3 hits. And at the end of 7, Minnesota's lead is 3-1. Frustrating injury-filled seasons. It's a firm handshake from his pitching coach and Kansas City native Neil Allen. 7 excellent innings giving up just 1 run on 3 hits.
Yeah, great job. And Neil Allen, you know, just talking about the positives and good energy there from his pitching coach, saying great job. And what a lift from your number 5 starter.
Here's Dylan G. Chevy called to the bullpen, making his Royals debut. Dylan G. started the year as a non-roster player, and then in the middle of spring training the Royals added him to the roster. There was a deadline that had expired and G was free to go to another club. The Royals put him on the roster. Now he's made the club. He was with the Mets last year, went on the disabled list with a groin injury in May, and then he ended up spending most of the season in AAA. When he was healthy and on his way back up, all those young pitchers had been called up, like Noah Syndergaard and Steven Matz, and so G spent most of the year in AAA. And his first pitch as a Royal is a slider in for a strike.
Yep, he's got a nice slider he likes to use. Fastball's good, low 90s, a curveball and a changeup.
Byung-Ho Park is thrilled that Edinson Volquez is no longer in the game. Volquez struck him out 3 times, and all 3 times with his changeup. 2-1. You know, just 2 seasons ago, Dylan G was the Mets' opening day starter.
Yeah.
Line to left, Alex. That's a tough play. That ball was sinking on him. 1 down.
Better believe it. He started back. He wasn't sure because it sounded like he hit it, squared it up nicely, and Alex is able to make a recovery there. Get that first out for Dylan.
Inside to Eduardo Escobar. He was 0 for 3 with 2 strikeouts against Volquez. Volquez struck out 10 in his 5 2/3 innings, gave up 2 runs. One and one. Dylan G was drafted by the Mets in the 21st round in 07 out of UTA, the University of Texas Arlington, and then got to the big leagues for the first time 3 years later. Kane makes the play in center field, and there are 2 down. And that'll bring up Eduardo Nunez. MLB.TV Premium is the #1 live streaming sports service. Watch every out-of-market game live in HD at home, in the office, or on the go. Get real-time highlights, live look-ins, pitch-by-pitch tracking, and more. MLB.TV Premium also includes a free at-bat premium subscription. Base hit left field. Eduardo Nunez was 0 for 1 this season when the game started, and he is 4 for 4 today. So Dylan G gets to the big leagues in 2010, pitching just 5 games. In 2011, he went 13-6. He won his first 7 major league decisions, but in the next season he had a blood clot in his right shoulder, which was surgically removed. And so he only won 6 games in 2012, but as we showed you on the first graphic, had a nice bounce back season in 2013 with 12 wins and an ERA of about 3.5, pitching almost 200 innings.
Well, it's another pitcher that the Royal scouting department liked. They like guys with experience now, bringing them into the Royals bullpen, and with the ability to possibly start if they needed him, but he's going to be one of their long guys.
1-2. John Ryan Murphy. Little bit inside. 2-2. Royals in the bottom of the 8th will have Perez, Colon, and Orlando. Nunez has tied a career high with 4 hits today. Minnesota has 10 hits. The Royals have only 3, but the deficit is 2. Well hit to center. Kane turns around, and the ball continues to carry, and Lorenzo makes the play on the warning track. 1 hit, 1 left. The Royals are down by 2, and Salvador Perez, with 3 extra base hits in this series, will lead off the 8th. Royals have 1 run on 3 hits. Ricky Nolasco went 7 innings, gave up 1 run, 3 hits, only made this mistake. Well, not to Mike Moustakas there, but later in the game to Mike Moustakas. 5 strikeouts, no walks. Mike Moustakas with 2 down in the 6th, homer to right center field. There it is. That's the only Royals run.
Yeah, you stay out of the middle of the plate. It's amazing how you can get away with anxious hitters that want to do something against you. They know that they can hit him, but he just has been a huge shot in the arm for the Minnesota Twins.
Well, now Kevin Jepsen, and the Royals scored 2 in the 8th inning against Jepsen on Friday when they were down by 1, and now here he is in the 8th inning with the Royals down by 2. Jepsen gave up 2 runs, 2 hits. And one of the hits was an RBI triple from Salvador Perez. 0-2 on Salvi.
All the damage was done on Jepsen's fastball. He's a fastball slider guy. He's not going to let up. That's what he throws. He's going to challenge these hitters again. Quickly ahead 0-2 here.
Salvi has 4 hits in this series. 3 have been extra bases. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Jepsen in 2 appearances has given up 3 earned runs in an inning and 2/3. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The Royals really have had 2 base runners in 7 innings. As Moustakas hit a home run, so he circled the bases, but Morales singled with 1 out in the 2nd inning. Perez doubled with 2 down in the 5th inning, and that's it.
And try to stay away with a fastball and not in his wheelhouse. Perfect spot. It's right where you want it. Now he'll probably come back with a slider a little bit further off the plate. Heads up.
Good at bat, still 2-2.
He stayed with a high heater that time.
Fastball up. 1 down in the bottom of the 8th. Royals baseball is brought to you by Ram Trucks. Guts, glory, Ram. And by Steel Outdoor Power Equipment. Quality, reliability, and value. Find a servicing Steel dealer at steeldealers.com or search Steel. 35,317. Biggest crowd of this 3-game series. Good pitch at the knees over the outside. Christian Colon has grounded out twice in his first game of 2016.
Well, I'm sure Jepson's got a lot on his shoulders right now. He's saying we need a win and to get off the schneid here this year, and they're counting on me to get through this inning, especially here. So he's really focusing on his command and where he's located. He wanted to serve him up right over the middle like he did the other night.
Off of Nunez's glove. There's the first hit for Colon this year, and he's on with 1 out.
There it is, fastball in, and Nunez playing even with the bag. That ball got on him. It didn't look like he saw it very well. That ball, sometimes when it's hit that hard, you know, it's a reaction position, third base, and you can see him going up, and yeah, he looked like he didn't see it very well. Lots of times in day games, fans wearing white shirts in the background, you know, it's hard to pick that ball up on the line like that when it's hit at you in a split second.
And now Paulo Orlando. Paulo had a big game last night. That was his first of the season. He had 3 hits, a run scored, and an RBI. Over but low. 1 ball and no strikes. So Colon really becomes just a 3rd base runner for the Royals today. And there's 1 out in the bottom of the 8th. Down and away, 2 balls and no strikes.
Paulo likes to hit the ball in the middle of the field. He'll go right center, left center, and does have some pull power. If he can get a pitch he can handle here 2-0, might could tie it up.
Chopped out towards short, and Escobar will go to first. 2 down. Colon moves up to second base. Today's copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Kansas City Royals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Kansas City Royals Baseball Club. Ryan Lefevre, Rex Sudler, Joel Goldberg, with producer Joe Vencius, director Steve Kurtenbach, associate producers Al Broughton, Sam Abramson, and Dave Holtzman. The producer of Royals Live is Brian Shapiro. Tying run at the plate, 2 down, 8th inning. Alcides Escobar was 0 for 3 against Ricky Nolasco. Esky grounded out to third on Friday night when he faced Jepson. On the ground to Escobar. And he throws out the Royals Escobar. So 8 innings, the Royals 1 run, 4 hits against Nolasco and Jepson. Acquainted with Minute Maid Park. Royals were there in the division series. That home run looked like the clincher in game 4. The Astros had a 6-2 lead going into the 8th inning. That was the big play right there. The ground ball by Kendrys Morales that tied the game. And then Morales hit the home run to help put game 5 away, and the Royals were on to the championship series where they beat the Blue Jays in 6. The Royals will not see Dallas Keuchel. They will see Justin McHugh, who was tough on the Royals twice in the postseason. Mike Fiers, Scott Feldman, Doug Fister. The Royals will have Chris Young tomorrow. Chris Medlin will make his season debut on Tuesday. And then Yordano Ventura and Ian Kennedy. All night games. And tomorrow will be the home opener for the Astros.
Yeah, another situation like opening night here. They played the Mets, and then now they're going to open up with a team that knocked them out.
Yeah. Buxton, good bunt. G off the mound, scoops and scooped it away. And Buxton is at second base with nobody out.
And the first error by a Royals player as a pitcher. Now, G made a good effort at that to shovel it off, but he landed awkwardly on his right shoulder. You hope everything's okay there. Excuse me, second error. Lorenzo Cain had one earlier. There it is. He used both hands to try to shovel it over there, and kind of tough play there. And Buxton with a great idea, using his speed, pushing that ball, making the pitcher feel the ball. Was a good hit for him. I would imagine that's the rule to hit and an error.
Hit and an error.
Yeah.
And now Brian Dozier, he really has the big hit in the game. Minnesota got 2 in the 6th inning. The Royals got a run back in the 6th, so they immediately made it a 1-run game, and then Dozier's home run came immediately in the top of the 7th. It is today's Dodge drive of the game. One ball and 1 strike on Dozier. Royals really pitched him well last year. Dozier had an all-star season. He had 28 home runs in a ballpark that's not known for home runs. But in all those games against the Royals, he hit 0 and only drove in 4. Pretty good swing there, 1 and 2.
He likes that ball up. We've seen him take some good swings. Now that one he hit for the home run, the ball was up off Hochevar, and then he lined a shot to Gordon in left field on a ball that was up around his shoulders. Same place right there. He likes that. And Alex was able to stay with it and catch it.
Struck him out. So Dozier's down. No advance by Buxton. And there's 1 away.
There's a nice changeup from G.
That's 12 strikeouts for the Twins as an offense today, and that gives them 70 strikeouts in 6 games. Second most in the major leagues coming into today. So I would think that would be alarming. I mean, this isn't a team that you'd expect to hit a lot of home runs where you say, well, you just have to accept the strikeouts, because the other side of that is they're going to hit a lot of home runs. But that's a lot of strikeouts for a team that mostly line drive hitters.
Yeah, you think they can concentrate on shortening up their swings and put the ball in play a little bit more.
'71 strikeouts, and for Rosario, that's his 2nd of the game. If you can't watch the Royals on TV, you can now stream games live on your mobile device. Just go to your app store and download the free Fox Sports Go app. Log in, stream the Royals wherever you go.
Why not put him on first base open? Got the rookie on deck. Good choice. And that's the difference. You know, when Sano got run for his first time in his career, he got kicked out of a game. Most pitchers, this situation here, this late in the game, aren't going to put him on intentionally with Sano back there. But, you know, they brought the rookie in, and that's the importance of a hitter hitting behind one of their best hitters.
So Max Kepler, we saw his first big league hit in the final game of the regular season last year. The German-born son of ballet dancers, Max Kepler. He was the Twins minor league player of the year last year. His mom is from the United States and was a baseball fan in San Antonio. His father is from Poland and defected to Germany, and they met performing in the ballet in Berlin.
Interesting. Well, this kid, he's got some nice skills. Last year in that Southern League, he was the most valuable player. .322 average, 32 doubles, 13 triples. 9 homers, 71 steaks. In 112 games, he had a season.
1 ball, 2 strikes.
Those are the kind of numbers you put up, you get promoted. Got to stand out down there in the minors. You got to put up those numbers.
No swing. 2-2. And the count goes from 0-2 to 3-2. So now the added offensive advantage for Minnesota. Not that they need it with Buxton at second base, but Buxton and Maurer will be going on the next pitch. And he walked him. So Max Kepler just called up, showing pretty good plate discipline there after falling behind 0-2. He takes the walk, and they're loaded up for Byung Ho Park. That'll impress the manager after just being called up from the minor leagues.
God, lots of times you want to swing. You come up fresh, you want to make an impression.
Slider is high. Park struck out in the 2nd, 4th, and 6th innings against Edinson Volquez, all on Volquez changeup. And then he faced Dylan G in the 8th inning and lined to left. So he's seen G in this game. Didn't mean to do it. And the count is 1-1.
Some good action on that 2-seam fastball there, running up and in on it. That run on that pitch, that started out 2 inches on the outer half of the plate and ended up inside.
One and two.
He's tardy. He's late on 92.
Even though it's a different pitcher, I can't help but wonder. He struck out 3 times on a changeup today. If in his mind he's thinking, stay back, stay back, stay back. And is that enough for him to miss the fastball?
Well, here it comes again. A little changeup, maybe. No, they stayed heater. Got him.
So the Twins leave the bases loaded. The Royals will be facing Glenn Perkins in the bottom of the 9th inning. Mike Moustakas, who has homered the last 2 games, will lead off. Kane has also homered in the series, followed by the cleanup man, Eric Hosmer.
Thoroughbred Ford. Ready for a great deal on a new Ford? Then it's time to go to Thoroughbred Ford. Down by 2. Bottom of the 9th, Mike Moustakas, Lorenzo Cain, Eric Hosmer. If anybody gets on, Kendrys Morales to face Glenn Perkins, who made his first appearance of the season last night. Wasn't a very good one. He didn't allow any runs, but he gave up 2 hits and a walk.
Yeah, not a safe situation. It'll be different tonight, although he did throw 27 pitches. That's quite a workload for your first time out. See if it affects his command at all. Good fastball. You throw a curve to the lefty Moose.
Well hit. Left center field. Rosario is back and makes the play. Well, the way he started going after that ball was almost as if he was conceding a home run, but ball just kind of flamed out once it got close to the warning track.
Yeah, didn't quite have enough on it, but watch Rosario here when he snatches it here late. Ooh, man, you ought to be careful that ball doesn't flip out of there when you do that.
No extra points for decorating a routine play.
No.
Down and into Cain. Lorenzo is 0 for 3. 1 for 7 in the past against Perkins. Perkins has missed with the first 2 and now doing a little groundskeeping on the mound. Perkins, we talked about him last night. He was an all-star in the first half of last year. In the second half of last year, his ERA was 7.32. The year before, he was shut down in September. He had some nerve issues in his left forearm.
He's a no-nonsense veteran, man. He's a gamer.
Base hit, and the tying run will come to the plate. Cain is 1 for 4.
Love how Lorenzo kept his hands inside the baseball here. And he's able to use the big part of the field there by doing that. He wasn't trying to pull. If you pull, you roll your top hand over. But by staying inside of it, he's able to guide it out there. Give the fans a little bit of life here.
Perkins struck out Hosmer in the game last night. And that was in the same inning when the Royals were boiling mad when Perkins threw behind Paulo Orlando. Good numbers against Perkins. Got him to chase up and in. 1 ball, 1 strike. Check that. No balls, 2 strikes.
Yeah, that was a good first pitch, though. He swept the slider away, and then he comes up and in on him there. That's a good spot. Kind of changed the eye level with Hosmer there. Might finish him off with a slider. Try to here if you can.
Fastball hit to left field, slicing away from Rosario, and he doesn't get it. Cain will score. Hosmer's digging for third. Tying run 90 feet away with 1 out. It's the second time in 3 nights Rosario late in the game has just missed on a dive, and the result has been a triple.
Well, that ball, when Hosmer hit it, he hit it off the end of the bat, but when you hit the ball to the opposite field and you're a left-handed batter, that ball's just going to slice. And just by watching it, it looked like he was going to catch it, but then the slice was too much as the ball just kept running away from him, and he looks like he over-pursued that. Let's see it again.
Yeah, he made a little adjustment at the very end there.
Yeah. Just off the end, but still, now you got to bring those infielders in, and Morales. Oh, that a little fool him right there. He was guessing all the way. Fastball. guarantee you there's no one in this park that has any anxiety than this guy. More anxiety. This guy here, Molitor, desperately looking for a win here to go back home to their opener tomorrow.
Slider, slider, slider. And Morales makes contact. Morales has had some spots where a big hit would have turned the game around. He's come up a couple of times with the bases loaded, 2 down. And both times struck out. Now with the tying run at third, 1 down in the 9th inning.
Well, Perkins staying with a slider because that pitch is going to stay down. He doesn't want to elevate anything to get Morales a chance to knock it in with a sac fly. So Perkins doing a nice job of a steady diet of sliders. You see that ball's down. Now Morales just is able to nick it off the side. He wants to try to stay inside of the ball, not roll over.
Got it. Fly ball right field deep. Kepler is back, and he makes a great catch. He may have saved the game. The Royals tie it on the sac fly. So good for the Royals and good for Minnesota. Max Kepler makes an over-the-shoulder catch. If not, the go-ahead/winning run might be in scoring position.
Okay, now Morales made the adjustment. He stayed inside the ball and not try to roll his hands over there. And look how he did that kind of power. That's an incredible catch there by Kepler. Man, that would have been a double for sure, maybe more even for Morales. But Royals came back and tied it. Perkins' first opportunity for a save, and it's blown.
And one of those walk-off home runs was against Perkins. That was the one in August of 14. And he's ahead in the count, 2 balls and no strikes.
You know, last night when he threw that ball behind Paulo Orlando, that kind of woke up the Royals a little bit, and really they didn't need to be woken up, the Royals. And so, you know, coming into the ballpark today, I'm sure a few of those guys said, you know what, we're going to see him again.
Winning run is on with 2 down. Alex Gordon is 1 for 4.
Molitor's seen it before. The frenzy-style attack the world champions have, they don't go away easy. Left a fastball up. Perkins is second-guessing himself right now, and he's going to have to be careful with his next hitter, Salvador Perez, who wants to be a hero. He loves it. Any kind of gapper could score Gordon from first. Fans feel it coming.
Slider for ball 1. A lot of sliders, and maybe that has something to do with, you know, fastballs at 91 and 92 from Perkins. We've seen 94, 95, 96 from him.
Well, he threw a little bit too many pitches than he wanted to last night.
Fastball at 91.
Yep, 27 pitches last night for your first outing of the year. He could be a little tender.
Royals have tied it in the bottom of the 9th. No win for Ricky Nolasco. High slider, 1 and 2. Got it just inside the upper portion of the strike zone.
That ball up there is the one Salvi's looking for. He just couldn't pull it. That ball saying hit me all over it at 81.
Laid off it. Gordon runs, and Perez strikes out. Damage done. The Royals had 1 run, 4 hits in the first 8 innings. But when it really counted, with 1 out, Kane singled. Hosmer tripled, putting an end to an 0 for 14. And Kendrys Morales hits a sac fly, And we head to the 10th, tied at 3. Four hits in the first 8 innings. With one out in the 9th inning, the Royals tie it. They send it into extra innings. And it was the middle of the order getting it done in the 9th.
Yep, they always seem to find a way. But if you watch these swings, nobody's trying to end it with a homer. All opposite field hits. Everybody's staying inside of the ball. Morales with a great adjustment on his sacrifice fly there. Look at that. He'd been swinging over the top of those two previous swings on that one. And then Kepler, that saved the game right there. As Gordon's hit would have scored Morales. Possibly, I mean, so, but at least the Royals are going to live to see another opportunity.
So Wade Davis on for the top of the 10th. A lot of managers will do this. It's not a save situation, but tie game in the 9th inning or later. Go to your closer, go to your best pitcher out of the bullpen, and try and get it tied in the bottom of the 10th for a walk-off situation. Little pop up, and Colon fights the sun a bit, but makes the play on Eduardo Escobar. Davis saved the game on Friday. Had to work out of some trouble. As the Twins down by 1, they had a runner at second base with nobody out, but Wade struck out Danny Santana. He got Mauer to ground into a fielder's choice and then struck out Eddie Rosario. And now Eduardo Nunez, who has tied a career high today with 4 hits. He's driven in one of the 3 Minnesota runs. And a little overmatched with that fastball at 94.
Yeah, you know, back in the 7th inning when the Twins took a 3-1 lead, you know, things looked good for them. And I made a comment, and I know that Paul Molitor, he's saying, you know what, guys, this Royals team gets more dangerous towards the end of the game. So no one was getting all excited about that. And that came inside on him and clipped him in his elbow, maybe forearm.
He was running up to bunt. Did he run closer to the plate?
Dangerous whenever you alter your stance and is to bunt like that, and you're trying to make an adjustment, and the pitcher decides to come up and in on you like that. That can really be dangerous. And he caught it. Watch him. He's going to try to bunt, and this ball's riding in on him and
ran right into it.
Yeah. Not good timing. It's a 4-seam fastball.
That's similar to the spot where Salvador Perez got hit by a Wade Davis pitch the other night when he was crossed up right on the, you hope for Nunez, like Perez, on the meat part of the inside of the arm.
Yeah, that's 95. That's Davis's best fastball there. athletic trainers come out after a situation like that. They want to grab your hand and they want you to squeeze it. Say, squeeze my hand and see what kind of pressure you can put on me there.
Tony Leo is the Minnesota assistant trainer, and Nunez is going to stay in. So 1-on-1 out to John Ryan Murphy. He is 0 for 4, but he could easily be 2 for 4. Among his outs, a line out to right and a fly out to deep center field. Fastball for a strike.
Davis will throw a straight four-seam fastball. He likes to cut the fastball as well, and that's like another pitch entirely. He's got great pinpoint accuracy with that in a beautiful over-the-top curveball. It's a jelly legger.
Runner goes. Salvador Perez throw is on the money. Nunez argues Minnesota will probably challenge because of the situation here. Paul Molitor's right out of the dugout. The second base umpire is Vic Carapazza.
Man, Salvi was quick like a cat coming up out of there. Slide, his right arm got caught behind him, and that slowed him down. When you slide early like that, sometimes that'll slow your momentum down getting to the bag. And watch his right arm. His right arm buckled, man. He's lucky he didn't hurt that again. That's the same arm he got hit on.
I guess the only way he's safe is if they think he missed the tag. Minnesota will not challenge. I figure they might take a shot at it because once you get past the 7th inning, you can always ask the umpire to challenge, and the umpiring crew will always grant them that. So even if they had lost their challenge. So 2 down and nobody on. And now 1 strike away from getting to the bottom of the 10th inning in a tie game with Colon, Orlando, and Escobar scheduled to hit. Still 1-2. Royals will be facing right-hander Trevor May when they come to bat in the bottom of the 10th inning. At a play. Minnesota got 2 in the 6th inning. The Royals got 1 in the bottom of the 6th, and then the Twins came right back, and Brian Dozier's homer in the 7th gave the Twins another 2-run lead, and then the Royals tied it in the bottom of the 9th on RBIs from Hosmer and Morales. Paulo Orlando with Eric Hosmer. Hosmer to the tarp. He's got it. We've seen first baseman disappear behind that tarp. Hosmer stays on the right side of it, and we head to the bottom of the 10th in a 3-3 tie.
Waiter, check please.
Part of the Royals come back in the 9th inning and just made a nice play up against the tarp for the final out of the top of the 10th inning.
Yep, look down once, see where you are. You get close to that tarp or the stands, and is able to glove it with that gold all over.
Trevor Plouffe is at third base. Eduardo Nunez was hit by a Wade Davis pitch in the top of the 10th inning. And here's Trevor May taking over on the mound. May was both a starter and a reliever for Minnesota last year. Making his third appearance of this season, and he'll get Colon, Orlando, and Escobar. Breaking ball is low. Colon is 1 for 3, picking up his first hit of the season with a single in the 8th inning.
His fastball will go 90 to 95. You saw that little downhill curveball, a little downward break. He's got a slider as well.
Strikeout pitcher. He struck out 7 in his first 4 innings.
And Colon, he's got a few at bats today, but discount right this situation, 2-0. Why not take a strike? Get on base.
Especially when it's that one.
Exactly.
3-0.
You don't want to hit when you haven't played a lot. You want to hit, swing, but man, this is a situation here. Just get a base runner on and let the Royals do their magic.
Four-pitch walk. And will we see Terrence Gore? Will we have a Terrence Gore appearance? Yes, we will.
Well, this is why you have a guy like Gore, and he made the roster because of this situation right here. This guy, when he takes off to steal a base, he is at full speed and half a step. I mean, the minute he moves, he's at full speed. It's incredible how low he is to the ground, and the giftedness of that speed of the legs and how quick he can get that jump. And believe me, they'll be throwing over a couple of times on him, and they might even try to pitch out. But he steals on pitch outs even.
That's not much of a move there. May is 6'5", and so it's going to take him a while to unwind when he comes to the plate.
Yeah, and Gore for the Royals this season, and here he is now, is pretty much a one-dimensional type player. This is what he does, so he's good and loose. He's been running up and down. He's fully ready to go. And the value of Terrence Gore on your bench, especially the Royals, the last 2 World Series back-to-back, this guy's been a huge part of it. And believe me, the weapons that the Royals have are one of the reasons why they do wear the ring this year. They've got plenty of weapons and lots of ways to beat you.
And now timeout. So this is also an advantage for Paulo Orlando. We say sometimes in a situation like this that a pitcher's attention is divided, 50-50 on the runner and the hitter. I'd say it's about 75-25 right now, runner to hitter. Gore's not running, and the pitch is very high, so maybe not a bad idea not to run there. That would have been a pretty good pitch for Murphy to throw down to second base.
And it's totally distracting. So May is worried about Gore, and if I'm Paulo Orlando or Ned, I'm not going to bunt here. I'm going to let him steal second base and then maybe think about moving him over.
And he takes a strike. 1-1. Showing bunt.
John Ryan Murphy, pretty good catch and throw guy, threw out over 22% of runners last season. That's a great initial lead right there, too. He's going to get a little bit more. He might shuffle off another inch. There you go.
There he goes. Oh. And it's bunted. Foul.
If you're the hitter behind a guy like Terrence Gore, you have to take up to 2 strikes. I mean, he's thinking about bunt, but there was something crossed up there. But you want him to steal as high a percentage of success rate for Gore. It's smart to let him steal the bag and then bunt him to third. But there's a
And the throw gets away.
triple.
And it goes into shallow right. Gore is going to head for third. And he's in there. And that throw almost got away from Plouffe.
Paul Molitor, he looks calm and cool on the outside, but on the inside he's saying, really? In order to beat the Royals, you cannot make mistakes, and that's what happens. Speed does that. It pressures defenses. It takes you out of your game. And the Royals have a knack, especially with this guy, Terrence Gore, man. Any ball that gets away from the first baseman, that's a triple. I mean, he's extremely speedy. Now with nobody out, Trevor May, he's in a heap of trouble here.
Boy, does Paulo feel better right now after bunting with Gore going. Now he has a chance to win it. Center field, shallow, too shallow. And with nobody out, no reason to take the risk there. Royals with a chance to walk off in their 5th game. It took them 87 games last year to walk off. And who is it against? The Minnesota Twins.
And more speed. An infield hit. The wind's okay. Great sweeping slide. I remember that. Long time we waited for a walk-off last season. Could happen here. And if it does, could be demoralizing to the Twins.
Plouffe is not all the way in at third, and we know that Escobar will bunt. Escobar chased a pitch up. Not a bad idea. Trying to get something up and hit it in the air.
You get these guys on the ropes here. This is what players dream about. And for a sweep, you step on their neck. You go for it. You've got to come through here.
Oh, and 2 fastballs up.
Okay, you see the infield and outfield extremely shallow. May having success here against Escobar with high fastballs.
Way outside. To this point, what the Royals have done in this inning has been a gift of the Minnesota Twins. Cologne walked on 4 straight pitches, and Gore got to third, running for Cologne on an error. Got him. Two down, and now it's up to Mike Moustakas.
Molitor can breathe a little bit of a sigh of relief there. Escobar a little bit aggressive in that at bat. Didn't get one strike to hit, and he swung at the first 2 that were up out of the zone, and then got him to swing at the ball in the dirt. Good sequence there by Trevor May.
Tight. Mike Moustakas has homered in back-to-back games. He drove in the Royals' first run with 2 down in the 6th inning. '96, 2-0.
Ooh, man, those are nice round numbers there. 5 for 9.
Takes a look at a strike, 2-1.
That's where Moose loves it.
And now 3-1 with Kane on deck.
And staying with his fastball, mainly because I think if he rolls that curveball up there and it bounces, you know, to the left or to the right of the catcher, Ryan Murphy, that could be trouble. Score, man, he'll read that ball and anything bouncing.
No swing. Moustakas takes the walk, and now Kane has a chance to win it. The Royals offense to this point is Trevor May. He's walked a hitter, he's committed an error, which has allowed Gore to go to third, and he's walked another hitter. And now Kane with one out. He singled in the 9th inning. He scored on the Hosmer triple, and then Hosmer scored on the Morales sacrifice fly.
Young-Ho Park hasn't played a lot of first base for him this year so far, but I like what he did. He walked in on the infield grass. Language barrier or not, baseball, you know, his sign language. He looked at Trevor May and said, hey, I'm off of him. I'm playing back. Don't you dare try to throw over to first base. Got to have little middle reminders to your pitcher. Lorenzo Cain, he can look for that cheddar cheese. Try to jump on one. Right back up the middle is the biggest hole in the field.
Breaking ball. Moustakas takes second base without a throw, so no stolen base.
But you know, that's a meaningful advancement right there, because there's no takes away the force at second, and Lorenzo Cain gets infield hits all the time.
That was the pitch that Escobar chased. 2 balls and no strikes.
Trevor May doesn't want to look on deck either. Hosmer's sitting over there saying, all right. But the thing that the Royals did so well last year is they didn't take it upon themselves to feel pressure to be the guy. They would always pass the baton to the next guy if they didn't get a good pitch to hit.
Like to have that one again. 2-1. Right idea. Headed to right center field, which, by the way, is the biggest gap in the outfield. Great pitch. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Oh yeah, I didn't do much of that.
Bounces away. Here comes Gore. Play at the plate. Royals win it. And Trevor May reacts appropriately. He gave the Royals that run with a walk, an error, and a wild pitch. 1 run on no hits.
That's why you stay away from that breaking ball in the dirt. in a situation like that because it's going to kick and it's going to bounce. And with Gore, his speed, he's in there for one thing, Gore to score. Murphy did all he could, but there was no chance. A demoralizing defeat. Weapons. Royals got him. Molitor is going to have to regroup. Head on back for their home opener tomorrow. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing if you're a Royals fan.
Take a guess who Joel has down on the field.
Yeah, that was an easy one, and I didn't have to chase him down. I did ask Terrence if he had his breath. He said, I think so. Well, that's what you do, Terrence. Running the bases. Describe that final play for us.
It was amazing. I saw the ball go away, so I went my gut instincts and just went for it.
I mean, that doesn't happen a lot. A ball in the dirt that doesn't even get by him. Take us through your mindset and exactly what you're seeing as you're watching that.
I'm just looking for the ball.
I guess he's not that fast. Okay, I mean, that is not a usual play. There might be one guy in all of baseball that could do that, and it's you. Again, take us through that. No more Gatorade coming.
All right, good. I just wait for, George said 2-2, so look for the ball in the dirt, and I just want my gut instinct as it went.
I mean, is there any second of doubt there? Do you even have a moment like that, or is it just, I'm going?
I'm going. No doubt about it, I'm going.
All right, let's go back, though, to first base. And before we talk about the error and the throwaway, are you aware of just how much you're distracting him? I mean, Ryan was up in the booth talking about so much of the focus being on you and not the batter.
I do. I mean, that's the main thing. When me and Dyson get on the bases, they throw fastballs, and just make arrows.
And then again, that's one where most guys would go from first to second. You thinking first to third all the way?
First to third all the way.
How much fun is this in front of this big crowd to single-handedly win a game? You get into a game, you wreak havoc on the base paths, you lead directly to a Royals sweep. And I know you're getting used to this now, but how much fun?
It's a lot of fun. That's what speed do.
Part 2, Dyson and Gore. Great job.
Thank you.
Terrence Gore won the Royals a game with his legs in big fashion. Ryan?
He sure did. And sometimes the threat of a steal is just as dangerous as an actual steal. And Terrence Gore took Trevor May out of his game a couple of times. And in the end, the Royals walk off and they sweep.
Gore to score! And how about that nice little bat?